We are at the Billboard Chris Josh Alexander protest right now. A lot of people down here. We are, of course, blockaded by the Rainbow people. The Rainbow people have made a wall, as usual. This was the same banner we saw on Wednesday, actually. I recognize those two banners from the last protest. And, it's a very thin line at the front. You can see a little bit of, are these people meant to? I'm not sure. How's it going? Queer, Muslim, and proud. All right, very cool. Yeah, awesome. Hey guys, I got a quick question. What if someone transitions as a kid and then they decide that they made a mistake?
Rights are human rights.
Okay, cool. All right. A lot of discourse, a lot of riveting, very, very exciting discourse going on right now. We are going to talk to the people who brought us down here, which is going to be Josh Alexander. Of course, Billboard Chris is around. How's it going, sir? How's it going? And then look, we have Maxime Bernier here as well. And so lots of people to talk to. I'm excited. How you guys feeling? Nice sunny day. I'm going to try and find someone to interview right now. Let's see. All these guys are busy right now. How about, let's talk to Max Bernier. Let's see if we can get in with Max Bernier right here. I'm going to kind of sneak in. Oh, look. Save Tomboys. That's cute. Hey. Max Bernier. Here we go. All right. I don't know if we're going to make it to the school. I heard there was an altercation earlier that I missed because I just got here. But let's try and find out. I'm going to try to get my cameraman. You ready to go? What's up?
Hi, nice to meet you.
How's it going? I'm just live right now. How are you?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Did you want to chat?
Sure, yeah. I'm the president of the Ontario Party.
Okay, great. Yeah. Can you hold this too? Igor, we're live. Can you hold that too? Great.
Hold on. Wait. How's my hair?
Looks great, bro. Looks great.
As good as yours, or?
I don't know. How does mine look? Have I fixed my hair? Is that good? Maybe try to hold them together. I don't know about. Yeah. Anyway, we're trying to work with two cameras right now. So I'm here with
Raphael Roche, Ontario Party.
Amazing. And what brings you down here today?
I believe in parental rights. It's parents that know best what's best for their kids, and it's just wrong that $1 billion industry could have more of a say over what happens to children than their own parents. And puberty blockers, chopping them up into pieces for profit, that's just absolutely wrong.
Are you saying that the indoctrination of kids is related to the big pharmaceutical lobby?
No, absolutely not. No, definitely not. No, pharma could never do anything wrong.
Yeah, no, but you are right. It's a conversation that does not come up on this side, and it's very relevant, which is if your child becomes trans, they are now a pharmaceutical customer for life, into the millions of dollars, I think, for one individual person who becomes trans. That's $1 million customer for Big Pharma. But you got an Ontario Party shirt on. Tell me about that.
So we formed as a party in 2018, and then last year we had an explosive growth. So we ran 105 candidates all across Ontario. In 6 months, we got thousands and thousands of votes, and it's just been unbelievable. And we're going through growing pains, of course, but we're ready to go, and we need a voice. We need a voice. And one of the things that caused us to form a party in the first place was we realized none of the parties that existed, the PC party or obviously any of the other parties, offered a voice for people with our values. So we said, well, if we can't go mainstream, then we have to start our own thing. And so that's what we did, and here we are, fighting the good fight, as they say.
And were you inspired by Derek Sloan to join the Ontario Party? I saw he's here today.
Actually, Derek joined our party, so I was president before he joined. There was 5 of us at the time, and I said, hey, who can we get to lead our party? Who's available? Nobody was available. I reached out to a few people, and suddenly we had mutual friends that said, well, Derek might be interested. I said, well, let's do it, because that's the dream team right there. And 6 months later, it was the election, and so here we are.
Okay, so I got to be critical because I like to be critical of my own side.
That's what we have to
I have a podcast called Controlled Opposition, all about ripping on Pierre Poilievre for being a pussy, really.
Yeah.
Speaking of changing gender, but so there's the Ontario Party.
Yeah.
There's the True Blue.
New Blue.
The New Blue, rather. And there's also the PPC, which doesn't have a provincial, official provincial anything.
No official provincial, that's right, yeah.
Right, but, you know, I guess, you know, I'm concerned as a conservative because, like, there's all these different parties, and why can't we just get behind the same guy who's an actual real populist? Why should we support the Ontario Party over True Blue?
So, one point of clarification, there's the federal side, which is PPC, CPC, and then there's the provincial side, which is us and New Blue. We existed before New Blue, and actually the previous board, before I was president, reached out to Jim Karahalios and said, why don't you come join us? Why don't you lead this party? Let's do something together. And without telling them, he went and announced that he was starting his own party. So we existed before. We were ready to do fundraising. We had all the structure ready, but he wasn't interested. And even after Derek came on board, Derek, I, and multiple others reached out to Jim and said, how can we work together? But he was just not interested. And so what can you do, right?
Does Jim have a policy against this stuff?
You're going to have to ask Jim.
Jim, where's Jim? Where's Jim? Where's Pierre?
Yeah.
Where are these guys?
So the Ontario Party has a clearly defined, irrevocable charter with our values set in stone forever. The Ontario Party will always have those values, and those are published on our website.
Okay.
And so we will always stand for the same thing. None of our names is on that charter. I mentioned that for a reason. But if you check our values, those values is what the Ontario Party will always stand for. So standing against this sort of thing, for sure.
Aside from the Constitution stuff, does the Ontario Party align with the PPC and Max Bernier? Do you have any criticisms for Max Bernier and the PPC?
Well,
like
we do definitely have differences. So the PPC is more of a libertarian party than we are. And actually, I just spoke to Maxime and said, hey, how can we work together? So hopefully in the future we might have something. It would have to be unofficial, obviously, because they have a policy to not have an official party. Yeah. And actually, we kind of have that same value that we don't want to have something official because if you can't control it, you don't know what they're going to end up doing. But for sure, we are open to work with whoever wants to work with us. Okay. But we do have a set of standardized values that will never change, and that's what we stand for. So you will always know what you get when you vote Ontario Party.
Amazing. Well, thanks for your time. Tell people where to find Ontario Party if they want to learn more.
OntarioParty.ca is easy as that. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, man. Cheers.
What's your name? Sorry.
Greg Wycliffe.
Greg Wycliffe.
Greg Wycliffe. If you like my content, guys, you can go to gregwycliffe.com for donation options. I really appreciate it. I mean, on this side of the aisle, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a conservative circle jerk, but, you know, it sucks that there's not more dialogue at places like this. They got really loud music on, of course. I tried to talk to some individuals over here, but we want to get to some of the, bigger names over here, because we got Max Bernier. Oh, he's just stopped talking to somebody. Oh, we got Hildebrand here as well. Look at this. This is incredible. Amazing. Hey, good to see you. I'm just live right now. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Did you want to say something to the people?
Sure.
I'm here with a guy who's got a Canada Marches shirt on, so you know he's a real one. What's your name?
Scott Smidle.
And what brings you down here today?
Well, I was actually one of the lead architects and lead organizers in that Million March for Children project.
Oh, cool.
So I was up here for the Toronto event, and there's been a whole flurry of activity. Of course, that evening we had the Dr. Robert Malone event, so I went to that,
nice.
and we had a bit of an after-party gathering afterwards.
Good stuff. Bernier was there too, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So how would you say the Billboard Chris protests and the Million March for Kids protests are different? Do you think they are different?
I don't think they're really all. I think the two events coinciding within a few days sort of drew more people into the area to make both events more successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got the Canada Marches shirt, which I love.
Yeah, I'm a veteran fan. I come from a very long history of military families.
Good. Have you heard of Hategate?
Hategate, oh yes, yeah. And what's going on with the unions? Actually, on the way walking in there, I was speaking with the guy who was actually used to be part of the union, and he retired and left because of all this unfolding. And like I said to him, there's obviously many more like him, otherwise that would not have been leaked, right?
Yeah. So where's Pierre Poilievre?
That's a great question.
What do you think of this guy, Pierre?
I don't really trust him at all. I think he's just another opportunist. He's in it for himself and the party, and he may start to change his tune and messaging just to stay relevant and remain electable. And if that's the case, at least we're making a change, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Out of all the politicians here, or even maybe just activists, who are you most excited to see?
Most excited?
Because we got Bernier, we got Sloan, we got Billboard Chris, Josh Alexander, Hildebrand, Pastor Hildebrand's here.
I was going to say, I think Hildebrand probably, because I'm a PPC candidate back home in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
So I'm already, familiar with Max and everything, but I'm also a very faithful person. So to have somebody like Pastor Hildebrand here, I think is sort of the heart and soul of it for me personally.
For those that don't know, Pastor Hildebrand was his church and him was fined like $250,000 during the pandemic. Crazy how this guy was treated. Crazy how the media's not talking about. Have you heard of Hategate?
Oh yes, absolutely. And touch on that deal with what happened to Hildebrand in his church. The church that I go to back home in Nova Scotia, they snowed open during lockdowns, and they're facing over $100,000 in fines.
So that's crazy. I'm gonna try to catch up with what's his face from Rebel, and I'm gonna ask him, why isn't Rebel covering Hategate? This seems like a pretty huge expose for the people. Why do you think Rebel News is not covering Hategate?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good question. I mean, you can speculate, but it'd be good to get a direct answer and actually speak to him, like you said.
What do you think is going to happen today, and how do you think we can actually move our cause forward when we're against a wall of the establishment trans people, which is really what it is, right?
Well, I think we really need this sort of critical mass event, and that was part of the idea behind the Million March for Children, because it's very much in line with what happened with COVID and the trucker convoy. Before then, everybody sort of had their head buried, were scared to speak out, and then after that, everybody was like, oh, wow, all these people actually agree with me, and it's safe to speak out. So this kind of activity, the Million March for Children, this continual activity gives that encouragement to people and make them feel safe to speak out.
That's right. And a lot of people are commenting on how there's a lot of Muslim families who, some of them were leaders in the movement, I believe, as well. Is that true? You helped organize it, so.
Yes, absolutely. Kamal al-Sheikh, he was an instrumental figure in all this, and introducing him to Josh Alexander created that Muslim-Christian community unity, and that just exploded in the media. So it really raised awareness, and even some of the media reporting, of course, from CBC and so on, has been hit pieces, but as they say, bad publicity is good publicity, so they've actually helped raise awareness of the issue and the activity going on.
Yeah, it's the Muslims and the Christians are uniting against the trans people, it's or the trans ideology after our kids.
Because there's actually a large contingent within the trans and LGBT community. They're on our side. Gays Against Groomers were one of our partnering organizations for that project, so I think they're one of our strongest assets and partners, because it shows that we're not against those people, we don't hate them, it's about the children.
I hear what you're saying. However, some things that Camille was saying from the 1 Million March for Kids is that I don't like your lifestyle, kind of speaking to the LGBTQ plus as a whole. And personally, I kind of welcome that escalation of rhetoric a little bit, because it's where do you think this ideology, this indoctrination for kids came from? You know what I mean? It's not like it.
Well, there is definitely an aspect to that where it's so pushed upon society. Where we've had actually people involved with the project that are homosexual, but they don't make it a thing. It's not a thing. We don't go around talking about how we're straight and all this and that. It's like as if you have blue hair, or it doesn't matter.
But in a nutshell, people are afraid. Oh, we might get called anti-gay if we're too aggressive. We're gonna get called anti-gay anyway. Justin Trudeau called everybody anti-gay yesterday, and how long are we going to go? Or sorry, that idea. Oh, I'm afraid to be called anti-gay. That's why no one stood up to this indoctrination in the first place, right? When it was being introduced. Oh, I don't want to be anti-gay, because this really was the case back in 2016, 2017, when Trudeau was being pro-gay was the thing. That was the total thing. And there needs to be some sort of reaction to that, I think, personally.
Well, it has a very strong flavor of the social justice warrior aspect and the virtue signaling.
Yeah.
We've seen that psychological and sociological aspect rise more and more, and that's really what's pushing it. It makes it very difficult to have a meaningful conversation with somebody on the other side, because they immediately out of the gate think you're a bad person.
That's right. That's right. Yo, thanks so much for your time. Anything that you want to plug?
No, just with PBC as a candidate, and we also had Children's Health Defense. They've been a very big supporter in all this, and it's just beautiful to see everybody come together and have that organic nature. That's really what we need, and that's what Malone talked about last night, is fifth generation warfare, and also injecting the organic nature in that, and having it's all up to the people, and that's what's actually going to change things politically and socially and culturally.
We shouldn't be sitting around waiting for Pierre. Because we'll be waiting for a long time, I think.
Yeah, because there's not going to be one single person or one single event that's going to change everything. It's a process, and the organic nature and the people are the major aspect of that.
That's right. Yo, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Billboard Chris is free, so let's go over here. Hey, Chris, you're busy at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just going to talk to Max here for a second.
Okay, cool. All right, so Billboard Chris is going to chat with Max. Let's see who else we can talk to. We got Sloan over here. He looks kind of busy. Let's kind of hover around him. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up?
How are you?
Good, nice to see you, bro.
Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how you feeling today? I heard I missed some excitement this morning.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing today. It's always great to stand in solidarity with the community against a lot of these injustices and inappropriate conduct and material that's happening in academia across this great nation of ours. You know, I'm completely, if I was demoralized at one point, I am filled with hope and optimism today. From what I saw Wednesday, it was amazing. Like, I organized the Burlington, Ontario Million March out there. We had 700 people show up compared to 100 counter-protesters. And, there were tens of thousands of people that came out a couple of days ago to stand in solidarity with parents, to say, you know what, we don't want to co-parent with the state. The state is not a moral arbitrator. We have control over our children. They are ours. And, it's definitely not, their ideological beliefs.
Capture this.
I'm being arrested.
Huh.
What's happening there?
I don't know. Looks like a freedom fighter's getting apprehended at the moment. Should we try to capture that?
I'll take him around the corner and let him go.
Yeah, they're probably going to take him around the corner and let him go.
Really what happened.
That's a good point.
Really
Let's stick to this interview. Let's stick to this interview. And now they're running across the lawn. They're running across the, and then they're going through their backyard. That's
It's war right now, man. It's war right now. This is it's crazy right now. What can I say?
So I got one question for you.
Yep.
Where's Pierre?
Good question. I'd love to know where Pierre is. Unfortunately, as we've talked about before, you and I, he's showing his cowardice again. And if anything, last night, I don't remember her name, but there was a Conservative member of Parliament who's a representative out in Eastern Ontario. Yep. She actually tweeted out statements condemning these events, condemning these parents, and taking a stand with the corrupt unions, taking a stand with the radical activists.
That's the Conservative MP.
Yeah, it was a Conservative member of Parliament. She took a stand with the big union, with the corrupt activists, with the political establishment.
It's not real.
And
Chad?
wait, let's talk. Come back. Let's talk. Whatever. Anyhow,
I love that. You gotta love the drive-by chirps. Instead of having a conversation like a respectful human being, it's just like,
these people don't want to have conversations. They want to. They're complete partisans. They don't want to talk to people. They don't want to engage in rational discourse. They're all about just shutting down the opposition, trying to get them to, stop them from speaking their truth.
They're making a big show over here.
Yeah, they're
Hold on. Let go. Curious what's going on here. They're like dragging this guy off by the looks of it. Hey, do you know what his crime was? Hey, what did he do? Do you know what he did?
Don't get close.
I mean, I get the idea. He's being dragged off. Very dramatic. I don't know what happened there because he was somewhere near the front line and he was just started to get dragged off. I don't really know. I'm sure there'll be a video that surfaces of what happened. Very dramatic, dragging him off. I don't know if that was just kind of like a tactic to like intimidate us that you will get arrested. But yeah, it all seemed. If you were to like cook up a freedom fighter type, he would look like that. Hey man, how's it going? Well, that also worked to disperse the crowd a little bit, which is kind of interesting. A bunch of people ran off chasing the cops. I guess I'm guilty of that. Hey, what's going on?
While you do this?
What's that?
Can I give you a hug while we do that?
Yeah, sure, man, sure.
Oh man, thanks so much for coming down.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just live right now. You have any comments for what you're seeing today?
Well, what I'm seeing today is a protest to protect children. I don't think a child is able to make a decision, a life-changing decision that would affect their fertility in the future. I think it's parents' rights, not school rights. So that's what I'm here for. Stand with the parents and myself.
Amazing. Thanks, man. I heard I missed some excitement this morning. What happened?
I just came in over there about 40 minutes ago. It seemed okay. There was a little bit of a skirmish over there. Not sure what happened. So far, it's been quite peaceful. Kind of wish I brought my 1,500 watt PA system down like I had in Burlington for our rally. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I think.
Flag you got there?
Oh yeah, we're sporting the Canadian flag today because as the Muslims and I chanted, and the Christians and everybody yesterday in Halton, Burlington, we said, "What flag? One flag.
Yeah.
What flag? One flag."
Not the rainbow flag.
No. The rainbow flag. Do you know the origin of the rainbow flag?
No, not off the top of my head.
Well, the rainbow in general is God's promise to
Right, I know
man.
that.
Yeah.
God's promise, yeah.
And we got to start taking this stuff back and using the real words like, why are you anti-woman? Why are you anti-family? Why are you pro-communist?
Yeah.
Right? How do you...
We have to start attacking them with our own labels and our own moral condemnation because we're too afraid right now with Justin Trudeau. Oh, they're going to call us biphobic or transphobic. I don't care. These people are siding with pedophiles quite literally. If you are genuinely a pedophile, you would obviously be on the side with the trans flags. People might say that's a cheap shot, but no, they take cheap shots at us all the time. And it's also, these are like kids being preyed upon by predators and also predatory ideologies, which are just not for kids. Like we have to start using our words more aggressively here, folks.
Oh, and it's true, right? Because, okay, what are they? They're anti... So if someone says you're transphobe, you just go, what? Why am I transphobe? You're anti-woman, anti-child, anti-man, anti-family.
Yeah.
Wake up and understand. There was a gentleman here saying he was just blown away and didn't believe me that there's porn books in the schools.
Right.
He said it didn't exist. He said that genital mutilation doesn't exist. So we got a lot of work to get the message out to these brainwashed people. I think it's only communists and dictatorships that have state-sponsored media. Is that correct, you think? Or?
Oh, I mean, there's so much evidence of globalism in this country now. Like communism, dictators. Have you heard of Hategate?
Yeah, Hategate really blew me away. But I'm not surprised because if you know from the truckers, I met you up there doing a great job up there.
But it confirmed what we already knew. We have the receipts now. You know?
Yeah. So basically, what's going on with Hategate, in my opinion, is everything they do, like the anti-Islamophobia.
Get that hat in there. Get that hat.
Oh, you got
Diagolon hat, hate symbol, certified, guaranteed hate symbol. How's it going?
Absolutely.
We were just talking about Hategate. Have you heard about Hategate?
Oh, of course I have been following closely.
Do you trust the institution in this country anymore?
Absolutely not. And my children have been in private schools for 10 years because I knew this was going on a long time ago. 25 years ago, my little boy, 5 years old, brought home a propaganda book. The Catholic school brought him to the public library, and when I brought it to the attention of his teacher, she says, "Oh my, I don't know how he got his hands on that gay propaganda." But now I know, now we all know. It's going on for a long time.
Yeah, thank you so much for standing up, and I love your hat. I love your hat.
I don't know what it means, but I have no idea what it means.
Amazing. There are friends of Diagolon everywhere, fans of Jeremy, and really everyone should know about Hategate, hashtag Hategate. If somehow you haven't heard of Hategate yet, just search the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag Hategate. It's insane. It's madness. We got to get an interview here with Sloan or somebody. Is Josh Alexander around too? Let's see who we can talk to. All right, we got Billboard Chris. Let's try to get over to Billboard Chris here. Mr. Bernier!
And then I'll show you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, thank you.
I got one question for you.
Only one?
Where's Pierre?
That's the question. Thank you for asking. But I know he's afraid. He's afraid of the common sense. He's always speaking about common sense. Everything is common sense.
He steals a lot of your talking points, yeah.
Yeah. But for us, it's not a talking point. It's not a slogan. That's a reality. That's why I'm here. But Pierre is not here because, Pierre is not a leader. He is a follower. He is following the public opinion. And we know, and you know, that the public opinion has been manipulated by the radical left, by the leftist media, by the legacy media. And the more we speak about our values, the more support we will have. But Pierre doesn't have any conviction. And I must add, maybe he doesn't have any balls. So he's not here today. And I can see people who believe to protect the kids, and that's great. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see the crowd here, we're happy, we're having fun, and look the crowd on the other side, the counter-protest. They're angry, they're mad. Why? Because they know that they cannot win, and they don't want to have the discussion. They're just throwing names at us because they know if we have a discussion, we will win the argument. So Poilievre is a little bit like the counter-protest. He doesn't want to do anything. And he thinks that, it's not so important for the country. Yes, it's fundamental for the country, for our way of life. We must stop the sexualization of our kids.
Yeah, you're making me realize something. Maybe we shouldn't be assume so much with Pierre. Maybe we shouldn't be assuming his gender. Pierre, if you're watching, what are your pronouns? Like, how do you identify? Maybe there's something more to the story here when it comes to Pierre Poilievre. But I was telling someone, this wall, this rainbow trans flag wall, kind of represents the establishment. And, the only way we're going to get through that is when we stand behind people who are actually willing to stand here and push against it. And that's obviously not Pierre Poilievre. But along with that...
I must say that we must judge a politician not only by his or her words, but action. What that politician is doing in the real life. Is he acting? Is he here when we need him or her? Poilievre was not with us, freedom fighters, when we needed him, and we needed the Conservative Party of Canada. We were there, and we started that common sense revolution, that freedom revolution with the Freedom Convoy. But when we were able to move the public opinion on our side, now the follower, Pierre Poilievre, came and said, freedom, freedom, freedom in Ottawa. But it was a little bit late because we did all the work. And maybe for that will be the same thing. He's going to come maybe in 2 years or 5 years. Yes, we must stop the indoctrination of our kids. But he's not a leader.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be annoying because I feel like if enough pressure happens, all of a sudden Pierre's going to be like, oh, you know what, now I do support Million March for a Kid. You know what I mean? He's going to do that thing where he starts to kind of...
And I must say to people, go on my Twitter account, go on the People's Party website, and look, I did a video in 2018. Not yesterday, not last month, not last year. 2018 speaking about that issue. So... And Poilievre is not able to say anything about that and won't act on it. So judge the man by his actions.
And finally, I got to ask you about the Hategate scandal. You guys have been talking about it, but I mean, we have the receipts now. Like, a lot of people suspected that the trucker convoy was justified with misinformation and lies, which Trudeau loves to be all alarmist about, but he's guilty of doing that exact thing. And now we have the receipts with the Hategate scandal, and now we've identified part of the problem, which is the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Tell me how significant you think Hategate is to Canadians who are watching.
They're doing that against us, against the BBC in 2019. They were, throwing names at me, and it's a shame that in our country, politicians, elected politicians, are looking to that radical group and believing everything that they're doing. And also the same thing with the mainstream media.
Yeah, the mainstream media just parrots it, right? They just repeat the lies.
Absolutely. And now you have Poilievre who won't speak about that because, it's past, it's done, let's turn the page. No, we will never turn the page. We'll always fight for what we believe. And that's why I tweeted about that. That's why I said, look, this is the reality. The radical left are using that group to discredit us. Now more and more people know that, and that will be easier for us to have more support.
Absolutely. And I tell conservative supporters, what are you doing? Why do you still support this guy, especially after the convoy? But I say, if you are actually, wanting to change the country, even if you want the Conservatives to win, it makes more sense to support you because you are going to be pushing things farther right, and that will eventually maybe get the Conservative Party to move. But by just supporting Pierre Poilievre, you're supporting the status quo. You know?
But it's not a question of left and right anymore. I believe that it's a question of, good and evil. And read our policy. Look what we want to do. We want to regain that country. We want to, be sure that our kids would be safe. And I think that's the good. And all these others who don't have the courage to speak about it, you cannot trust them.
Yeah, and I think the Hategate scandal, a great way to think of it, they use the same tools.
Oh, yeah.
Racist, homophobic, transphobic. We just need to not care anymore. I don't care if you call us these names because really it's run its course.
And I know that the population, they understand that if you call somebody a racist, that person may not be a racist, and they are doing that because that person have maybe something important to say. More and more people understand that. It's like 1984, peace is war, war is peace. So when they're saying, you are a racist, we are not. And that strategy won't work on the long term. That's why the truth and the facts will prevail.
Yeah, and unfortunately, politics is a blood sport. Would you agree with that?
Sorry?
Politics is a blood sport.
It's a tough sport.
Yeah.
You need to have balls to be in politics.
Yeah.
And you need to have conviction. But being here, it can be tough some days. But being here with all you guys, you are giving me more energy, and I'll go on and I'll fight openly with passion and conviction. That's what I like.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, I think that we should do more name calling of our own. Whether it's groomer, whether it's like you're siding with pedophiles, like this kind of rhetoric, I think it's getting warranted, and I think more and more people are warming up to that. You saw the 1 million person march as well. Anyway, that's more of a war room conversation. But the silence of Pierre Poilievre is so shameful. Especially, did you see the leaked Zoom call of these union workers?
Yeah.
Basically assuming that everyone here is a fascist for standing up for children. In a way, silence is compliance. So it's almost like Pierre agrees that us people are fascists, You see that?
And it's too bad that he's not here to answer your questions. And I think he's afraid. He's afraid of the truth. And shame on him, but not only him, all his conservative MPs. They're not there for us, and more people realize that right now.
Amazing. Anything else you want to say to encourage people to check?
I just want to say, stay strong and free, have fun, speak about what you believe. Don't be afraid, have the courage of your conviction, and if you're doing that all together, we're going to be able to change our society. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Bernier.
Thank you for the time.
Hey, real quick, why haven't Rebel News talked about Hategate?
About what?
Hategate.
Hateskate.
You haven't heard about Hategate? Hategate is, we have the receipts that Justin Trudeau used misinformation and lies to justify the use of the Emergencies Act. Rebel News hasn't heard about this?
Do you know where my colleagues might be researching that right now? I've been on other assignments. I'm not being evasive. I just don't know it.
Okay.
It's not being
I'm pretty sure his name is Kean, I believe. Kean with an I. He was talking to Jeremy McKenzie at the time during the trucker convoy right after it, and Rebel News, I guess, decided to drop the story at the last minute. They could have been ahead of Hategate by like a year.
Well, I believe Kean is here today, and if he has first-hand knowledge of that,
sure,
maybe you should direct your questions to him. Okay.
Yeah, if you could, tag Ezra Levant about Hategate, I think that would be important.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing too is I'm sorry to grill you like this, but your boss Ezra has called Jeremy McKenzie a Fed, which is insane. You know who Jeremy McKenzie is?
Oh, I sure do, and I think there are some elements of that story that are not well known, and that Ezra has knowledge of. So I think we have gone to battle with so many of the Freedom Convoy demonstrators, so many of the people that got fined during COVID. You're aware of the Fight the Fines program. So we don't, bend the knee to big bureaucracy, big government. And like I said, this is not a story that I've been following, that I've been assigned to. So if you want to reach out to my colleagues and direct your questions to them, maybe you can get an answer that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think Ezra's got to check his facts when he's calling a freedom fighter and veteran Jeremy McKenzie a Fed, because that's very, very... You should fact check that right before accusing someone of being a Fed.
We take pride in our fact checking. We make sure our videos are bulletproof, actually, for our own good. We don't want to be sued for defamation. And so
I think it's too late, but yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens in the court of law on that one. So, like I said, if you want to go to the people directly involved with the Jeremy McKenzie situation, I'm not going to stop you.
Is Kean here? Do you know what he looks like?
He is, yes. Do you know what? He might be on the other side. We went through the pathway, but he is here.
Does he have like a Rebel News thing?
No, he has a big videographer camera.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got a beard, wearing black.
Awesome.
So good luck.
Yeah. Sorry to give you a hard time.
No, that's
I do
all right.
like your work, but I had to call you out on that. You know?
Thank you.
Cheers. I think it's the first time I talked to Menzies ever, and it's too bad that it has to be me calling him out. But Rebel News has to be called out for that. It's absolutely shameful. We got to plug this thing in. Hey?
Better plug?
Yeah, you got it, right?
Yep.
So let's see which is longer here. We're just plugging in the phone right now, guys. Which one's longer?
We should go and talk to the guy in the red baseball cap.
Yeah, here, use this. Talk to who? Here, I'll hold this. Just doing some tech stuff, guys. No, wrong end. Yep. Who do you want to talk to?
The guy with the red hat, trans against queer ideology.
All right, let's walk over to him.
Yeah.
How is this going? Nice. Is the quality really bad or what? I hope not. So tell me where.
What the heck?
This guy? Hey, how's it going? I'm live on YouTube. You want to chat?
Sir, yes, sir. What would you like to chat about, sir?
So your sign says trans against gender ideology and queer theory.
Right,
amazing. You're a trans person?
Yes, sir. I don't. Out of respect for the Catholic school, I'm not wearing any makeup today. However, yes, I'm a 6'2" post-op transsexual with biceps of steel, and I'm against gender ideology in schools, and we have to leave the kids alone.
Have you managed to have a conversation with anyone over there today?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if the police would want or the protesters would want me to try. I'd be willing to. Right. I've certainly tried on Mr. Billboard Chris's Twitter account. I never thought I would be on social media, but now I am. So I've certainly tried talking with their representatives of their side through Billboard Chris's timeline and others.
Right. On the front line, it can get kind of very toxic and very not conducive to a conversation. You know.
Yes. Oh, I dig it. I think that Chris Elston is very open to conversation, and a lot of people are.
Yeah.
It really feels like a lot of his opponents aren't.
Yeah. So some people at the protest on Wednesday were almost just against the LGBTQ plus in general, kind of making the argument that where do you think this ideology came from? It probably came from the LGBT, and that's why that indoctrination is now in schools. But what are your personal beliefs, kind of relating it to abortion, how many months, what age, if you were making, if you were dictating the policy when it comes to transgenderism, would you have an age cutoff of how old you need to be to do hormones or bottom surgery, or do you not believe in trans kids being a thing at all, that whole thing?
Great question. I have to tell you, when I first a year ago, I didn't know. A year ago, I did not believe that these stories of minor surgeries were true. I believed that they were urban legend.
You heard it was all it's right-wing conspiracies, right?
Well, I just I'm sort of familiar with the system, and it just seemed unbelievable. It seemed ridiculous.
Yeah.
It seemed like something. I mean, I regret to say this, but it seemed like something that was so far-fetched and silly that it was not worth looking into. It was almost like flat Earth or whatever. I found it impossible to believe. Now, last December, I heard about Chloe Cole, and the next day, I saw a video testimonial by Luca Hine which really changed my life radically on the spot. Suddenly, like I'd heard 3 or maybe 4 times about these procedures on minors. I discounted it and dismissed it. I thought it was too much. Okay, that video by Luca Hine. Okay, the testimony by Chloe Cole in print was shocking. To then find out the video testimonial by the next day by Luca Hine, it was a lot more impacting. Like, I was really profoundly affected.
And this is the stories of detransitioners?
Yes, sir. These poor girls who were told to believe that they have the same mental disorder that I do, which is a childhood mental illness, which they were told that they had suddenly spontaneously developed in adolescence. They had gone through these very intense hormonal and surgical procedures and interventions, only to discover, and it wasn't just these 2, there was a whole bunch of them, there was so many of them, only to realize that they never really had the disorder in the first place. I think they should have been working to cure the disorder with the doctors, but they found out that they didn't have the disorder. And I mean, I don't know, it's really hard for a lot of people to maybe understand what it's like to wake up and realize that you've done such a life-changing thing as a minor, as a child.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah, because you were given, and because you were, I think, because you were lied to. Like at minimum, given erroneous information by professionals. At worst, though, lied to. Yes, I don't know. I might have gone off in a tangent there.
No, I appreciate it. You're very, intense, because it is intense. Like, it sounds like because I don't know if it's the same person. Oh, whoops, sorry, whoops. I don't know if it's the same person, but the one detransition video I saw, it's only 3 minutes, and like it's so concise because she says, like, I decided I didn't want to be a woman before I even knew what a woman was, right?
Yes, that's Prisha Mosley.
Prisha, yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And all 3 of these girls, among others, are all engaging in legal actions against the institutions that were behind their transition.
Let's brainstorm solutions here, because it's really hard to talk to anybody over here. Obviously, like at a protest like this, it is hard to like have a conversation, but I've talked to people on that side who are like super well spoken and super like they have the conviction. They fully believe trans kids are real. Yes. They can decide, like, if it's ironic how they kind of encourage gender roles a bit, right? How it's like, oh, like the boy wanted to wear a dress. Yeah, we need to get him on the gender affirmation right away. But how do you see reaching these people? Like, and especially because they have the entire like establishment kind of behind them, right? Like they have Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, kind of support. How do we get through to these people? Not the politicians, because I know we're not going to get through to them. But how do we get through to these people?
I wish I knew. I hear you when you say like a lot of them are so well spoken and they're so convicted. Yeah. Because there really is a sincere belief in them that that these children are being oppressed and need help. Right. Whereas I really think anybody with classical childhood gender dysphoria, which I suppose should probably be relabeled sex dysphoria, it really needs therapy. Yeah. Very intensive, patient, kind therapy until 25. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Besides that, a lot of people. It's difficult to say this because it's sad, but there's a real rise in transvestism spread by online pornography and the easy access to it.
See, that's the conversation that I'll bring that up to someone over there. They'll say it's not real. They'll say it's not sexual. It's nothing to do with sex, and it's like your affirmation. You're doing affirming care to, in some cases, do bottom surgery. How is this unrelated? It's related to your sexual organs. Like, how do they get away with that kind of sleight of hand where it's like, no, it's not about anything sexual. And like you said, the kind of undercurrent that I think relates to like encouraging these kids or helping these kids like potentially be more of a victim to like pedophilia online, right? I don't know if that's too far.
I've read about this, and if I'm hearing you correctly, I think, are you talking about teaching where to access like Grindr apps and stuff?
Well,
it seems like yes.
the content is very sexually in nature.
Oh, there's content in schools. Yes, sir. Yes, it's yes.
And it's like, you're putting all these different keywords into the minds of children, and like, what if they start looking for it and they think, oh, that's my identity, like, where is the line? It's a blurry line, then they're in a chat room, then they're talking to someone who's like, oh yeah, is that how you feel? Is that, I don't know. I would argue that this gender indoctrination makes kids more susceptible to being preyed upon by pedophiles, potentially, or sexual predators.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you something that's really shocking that was pointed out to me on a similar topic a couple months ago. Yeah, it's kind of intense to talk about, but as you know, Billboard, Chris, and so many people here are against these puberty blockers, which they stop you from they stop your skeleton, your brain, your hypothalamus,
your natural development,
everything from fully developing.
And it's not reversible.
It is not reversible, which they are apparently often marketed and sold as, but they're not. And the point is, for these puberty blockers are really pushed by a lot of people. It was pointed out to me a couple months ago that these puberty, this is very uncomfortable to talk about. It's a little bit ghoulish. A lot of these minors who are on puberty blockers, they never really, sort of like Claudia in Interview with the Vampire, they never grow up. They, like, when they turn 30, they look like they can look like a 16-year-old. And somebody asked me, like, doesn't it look like these are being marketed by pedophiles who want there to be an easy supply of legal people? I know this is so uncomfortable and squeamish to talk about.
But the thing is, the worst consequences of this indoctrination for kids needs to be talked about. And it's not talked about. Because if you were to bring up any of the potential negative side effects of someone transitioning as a child and then regretting it, they act like that doesn't even happen. And it's like, it's so irresponsible of them. It's like, you're going to stand behind this ideology and not even talk about the worst potential consequences of what you're supporting?
I've really come to see this in the last year, in the last 10 months. I've seen this online quite a bit. It is a
kind
real...
of like just blinders, right?
Yes, and a willingness to let as many children... It's so reckless that as many children under 18 will make a life-changing mistake. As long as it benefits a few. As long as it benefits a few, it doesn't matter how many mistakes others make. These mistakes are so epic and grand on a life-changing scale. Yes.
I got another less intense topic, but very relevant one. There's the transitioning, there's the transgender people, and then there's also the gender queer, which is sort of this whole thing about I identify, pronoun. Yes. And I actually talked to a doctor who is in the gay community in Toronto, and he essentially said, it can be very frustrating because I've dealt with a lot of genderqueer people in my practice, and they have a correlation with certain personality disorders, which have to do with attention-seeking disorder and this sort of type of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's offensive for me to say that. But
oh, I'm not offended by anything. Really not. Don't worry.
What do you think of the whole pronoun party? It's kind of insane if you go on TikTok, paint self, and I feel like it's similar but also different, because it's just this kind of giving, hey kids, here's a whole weird sort of world of gender identity, and it's like, is this productive? Is this helpful? I don't understand. Is this a role-playing game? I don't get it.
I agree. Mental illness, that is non-chemical mental illness, is actually socially contagious. All of it, including anorexia, and including some, I won't go on a tangent, but including some mental disorders that exist in other continents that you've never heard of. You'd be really surprised.
You mean like ADHD or something, or more like, give us an example, because that sounds juicy.
Oh, it is. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little bit juicy on a sensitive topic, but for example, and this is talking about the globalization of Western and American culture and this mental disorder, this non-chemical mental disorder that we're going through. Okay, in Asia, especially in Eastern Asia, there's a mental disorder. It's sort of like anorexia, and it only strikes males, and it's a paralyzing fear against all obvious evidence that their male self is shrinking. their underpants, their underwear, their penis is shrinking.
It's a fear that their penis is shrinking, and this has become like a widespread mental thing in Eastern Asia.
It is a disorder in Eastern Asia.
But that's crazy. I think I have the same thing. That's crazy. That's so crazy.
One day,
now that you mention it, it kind of works like that though. It's like a seed in your head, and it's like, wait a minute.
Well, I'll tell you. See, the genderqueer thing is to make. This is all called the medical industrial complex by Janice Raymond in the 1970s, and she also called it the transsexual empire. The medical industrial complex in 1972, and the idea is that yet in the future, based on all of this transgenderism, that you or some guy in the future will be able to say, doctor, I identify as someone with a larger manhood, and they'll have a surgery for that.
Wow.
This is, if you look up Jennifer Bilek, she's a journalist who's done the most research of anyone in the world on the money behind this transgender lobby. She's got a great social media presence and some concise YouTube videos too that explain that the money behind all this transgenderism goes into gay organizations established decades ago by contemporary 2023 transvestite billionaires. But most people don't know, and she has the receipts, they're backed by even richer billionaire transhumanists who are using transgenderism as a gateway to transhumanism. The implants that we were just talking about, doctor, I identify as a man with a bigger, or doctor, I really need, I'm having trouble with photographic memory and I want to have an implant in my brain. All this stuff that William Gibson was talking about.
So I kind of have a theory on this. And that is, and this is a very intense kind of, trigger warning. There is a pattern though of homosexual males who have like a history of childhood sexual abuse.
This is correct.
Yeah.
This is correct.
And so my theory is kind of like, and this is a very uncomfortable topic, but the theory is kind of like, it's kind of like, classical psychology. It's like, if you associate arousal with a certain person or a certain thing, or like there's a certain suggestion in your head that's associated with your arousal, that might dictate your sexuality much more than like how you were born necessarily. Like there might be a lot that influences you that has to do with like, I guess my point is I would argue that potentially there are trans kids who only feel like they're trans because it was suggested to them along with positive reinforcement in the form of attention. Positive attention.
It seems that way, yes.
Yeah.
It really seems that way.
Yeah.
From what I can see on TikTok, on social media, it looks that way.
And I guess my whole point is like, is this who they are and how they were born, or is there just kind of some psychological thing going on with how it was, how it was suggested and
psychological
presented to them and that sort of thing?
Psychological.
Anyway, thanks so much for your time. Did you want to tag your social media at all?
Oh, I don't really. Well, I just support Billboard Chris. I'm that big tomboy, BOYE. But I just have an account to support Chris and lives of TikTok. Where are you on social media?
My name is Greg Wycliffe. Greg Wycliffe. If you like the content, go to gregwycliffe.com, send a donation.
I've seen you supporting Bill.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate it.
Great to meet you.
Yeah.
Good luck today. Good luck. Thanks for putting together all this effort, and it's great to see all these people coming out.
Did you get the sign? Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot.
Against gender ideology, queer theory in schools.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Good luck, guys. Good
Thanks.
luck.
Awesome. Yeah, you too. Bye. That was interesting. I appreciate that perspective. I think it's, definitely a unique perspective in this crowd. We can kind of hear more about, well, it is what it is. I thought it was a cool conversation. Who haven't we got? We don't have Sloan. We don't have Josh Alexander. So it looks like Josh is trying to push through here. Yeah, Josh is trying to push through here. All right, so let's come over here.
What on the neck? Somebody got it in the eye.
It's above his eye, but they got him in the eye.
What happened?
He's got a nick on the eye. Somebody punched him or something.
Thank heaven it's above.
So there was violence.
You know what happened?
Interesting. So it looks like Josh Alexander tried to push through. Oh my God. We got bloodshed. We got bloodshed.
That's all right. Go ahead. Okay.
So is anyone getting arrested over there or what? You're getting arrested? That guy's bleeding. You're gonna arrest the guys who hit him or what?
No. They're mostly peaceful.
What's that?
You're there Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Buddy's bleeding over there. Some crazy tranny punched him in the face or something. I think that's assault. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's assault. Here, give me that for a second. Oh. I can't see anything, but maybe you guys can see something.
Arrest the person that assaulted that person.
You let these assholes come to a protest with intentions of violence and in disguise,
You need to arrest them.
and do nothing about it.
Uphold the rule of law and arrest the person.
Yeah, who's?
This is a state. You're agents of the web, and you should be the police officers that you signed up to be before you joined the Freemasonic Lodge.
It's really quite the bottleneck here, and like right now we got a wall of cops and a rainbow wall, which is we kind of saw something similar on Wednesday, which is the wall of cops kind of doubling up the wall.
Everybody will convert.
I mean, last time we were able to run around, last time in June. But yeah, we're gonna try to look for some of our friends here. Hey, I'm live right now. Do you want to chat?
Good to see you. Sure.
Amazing. We are here with Pastor Hildebrand. What brings you out here today?
One word: children. So we were just in Ottawa 2 days ago, as you know.
That was big.
Beautiful, big turnout. I guess the turnout here today is not as big. People are afraid. Some people are concerned what will be happening. But we have such a serious issue on hand. And that's why you see the Sikhs are out here, the Hindus are out here, the black are out here, the rich are out here, the poor are out here, because this is really a human issue. We're one big human family. There's no hatred in our hearts. There's nothing, no malice. I just wish so much that we could get the message across to the people, is saying that when we take the Bible out of school, we take God out of school. That's what you have. It's just sad to see that even in Ottawa, not a single politician was willing to step. I'm sorry, I misspoke. There was one. That was Jagmeet Singh. He stepped out, but he was on the other side.
Right.
I was like 10, 15 feet away from him. I said, Mr. Singh, I said, you need to be here. You're confused. Our eyes met, and I saw his confused look in his eyes. I thought, oh, what a sellout, because his own religion condemns him for doing that, So what's he doing? But I understand he's very close friend with Justin Trudeau, and he's a sellout. That's why,
Yeah.
But our politicians are just not willing. But I got a word of warning for our politicians. Your days are numbered, because we have young men, we have young leaders in the wings. And young leaders are getting a little impatient. As you can tell, we have these young men walking around here, and they are leading strong. And I'm speaking to pastors, I'm speaking to politicians. You know what? We will need more than you just sitting in your suit and tie in Ottawa and not producing anything. You were supposed to represent the people. Pastors, you were supposed to represent the people. You were supposed to stand for the people. Where are you? This is our day. We were born for a time such as this. God help us that we would stand strong.
Absolutely. And speaking of where are they, Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, massive million-person march on Wednesday. Where is he?
So they just had the convention, and Pierre Poilievre saw that in the convention, high majority of people want what we are standing for today. Okay. So now the question is, will Pierre Poilievre, will he endorse that? Will he stand for that, or will he just see if he can butter up and see if he can get the votes? That's what's so sad about in our day is, where are the people? Today, this reminds me so much of David and Goliath. On the one side was the people of Israel, on the other side were the Philistines. David walked up and they told him what they're telling us today. They said, who do you think you are? And David said, is there not a cause? Do we not understand the blasphemous thing that are going on in the schools? How long can we stand that?
Yeah, they're humiliating our God. They're humiliating Christ.
Totally.
Are we not going to stand up?
Totally, that's what I'm saying. That's why David said. And then they try to soldier him up, try to give him boots and sword and shield and whatnot. And David said, wait a minute, just let me go. And I feel that way today. I feel like, let me go in the faith. Because if my faith is not worth dying for, my faith is not worth living for. What I mean is we got to stand up for our God-given freedom and let the people know without hatred, without malice. Let them know God is God and you're blaspheming our God, because God made us male and female, and God put the care of the education and the care of the children in the parents' hands. They're supposed to teach them over there A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, not LGBTQ, who knows what. So let the school be the school like it should be.
Absolutely. I love that. And you know what? I have a sling. Let me just go find a stone and we're going to get this done.
That's where we go.
Just kidding.
That's where we go. So in the spirit. Yes. Of course, everybody knows you, everybody knows me. They know we're not violent. They know. Last 3 years, everybody knows we're not violent. But in the spirit, in the spiritual sense, we are tearing down imaginations, because these are built up imaginations by the evil one, and we will not have our children indoctrinated by pedophiles. We will not have our children mutilated, their bodies mutilated by tyrants. We cannot have that. We must stand up for the truth.
Absolutely. And I think that this conversation against this gender ideology, I think it's escalating a bit. And I've heard some people on our side concerned of like, hey, I don't want to sound anti-gay. But guess what? Where did this ideology came from?
So let me tell you something. Did you know that right now a lot of the gay people are very concerned what's happening, because they picked a lifestyle, okay? But they did not pick that wanting this, okay? So they themselves are recognizing hurting a child in Canada? Are you serious? Like in Canada, we're going to hurt the children? I don't think so. The children have no voice. And history will tell what we did. Did we stand up or did we not stand up?
That's right. But I'm thinking like we need to go further with this.
All right.
Because there are people who will say, okay, you can be transgender once you're old enough. And it's like, well, as a Christian, I don't think we should be legitimizing transgenderism at all. And people are going to call me transphobic, sure, but that's what I believe.
Right.
And that's kind of what I want to stand by.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks again. Cheers. All right, I don't know what's going on here, but we got someone moving. What's going on over here?
This is a distraction!
Yeah, guys, it's a distraction. This way, this way, this way, this way. Hey, are you gonna arrest the other guy? What happened?
Stand tall, brother. Stand tall.
Get out of the way.
Toronto police gone wrong. Toronto police gone wrong.
Whoa.
Picking out right now, guys. Picking out. That guy's like an 80-year-old veteran. What did he do?
We're also taking away a veteran. Hey, what'd this guy do? What'd this guy do, eh? What'd he do? Did he dare criticize a trans person? Is that why he's getting hugged away?
Keep moving.
He dared criticize a trans person. Wow. Taking them away in the paddy wagon. You got to be kidding me. What an absolute shame. Shame! 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 Get back! Get back! This is crazy. You don't mind that at all, do you? This guy is dead. Unless the counter-stand speak terror. What about that? What about that breaking? I swear on my life. I don't even know what to think what's going on right now. This is crazy. I mean, how many police does it take to get a Christian into a freaking paddy wagon? How many cops does it take to get into get a Christian into a paddy wagon?
Shame on you! Stop the car! Stop the car! Stop! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Officer! Officer!
So the paddy wagon's gone. There's still a bunch of police here. That's crazy.
But you have a problem with this, eh? Oh, let the goddamn police are the violent ones.
Can you believe what's happening?
Animals. I warned them 10 minutes before that happened. I told them, he's cornered, he's being attacked, let me get through, or at least escort him out.
And they didn't listen.
They didn't.
Did the person that attacked, did they at least get arrested? Do we know who even attacked them? No?
No.
This is shameful. This is shameful. Hey, should we get badge numbers or something?
Yeah.
If you can get them.
I'm the sergeant. How do you call this? You want people here protecting your goddamn counterstanding Sikh terrorists.
My brother's face is pouring blood.
You're more of a man than he is, Josh. You're more of a man than he is, bud. Coward.
Nick is bloodied?
Beating up his brother.
Is he okay?
Yeah, pull him away. Beating up his brother. You guys think that's good, eh? You're to save the kids, not beat the kids up. Coward! Coward! Fucking kid.
Hey, yo, guys, we're live on YouTube right now. Do you guys want to say anything? Shout out.
Of course.
Save the kids. Okay, can you believe what's going on right now? What do you think?
What do we think? What do we think, man? What do you guys think?
Save our fucking kids.
These fucking fags.
How many police officers does it take to get a Christian student into a cop car? You know?
Probably one.
No, there's like 20.
700.
There's like 700 cops. Crazy.
Yeah, but they're here for no reason.
Yeah. What do you guys think of like the rainbow crowd back there?
There's too much of them. There's way too much of them. There's way too much of them.
Oh my goodness. Are we gonna just? Josh is like sprinting down there, which is completely broken up the protest. I'm guessing. I don't know. Everyone's spread out right now. I got running shoes on, so what the heck? Just gonna do a running stream real quick.
That was my friend.
was assaulted multiple times today. Multiple times. Police refused to help him. At least 3 separate incidents of assault against Wild Bill. He was hit with multiple umbrellas. They were broken off, and they attempted to stab him with them. We have this all on video. Police refused to intervene, and they have now arrested Wild Bill, the combat veteran, and dragged him out of here in a metal box. That's Toronto Police for you. We also had meetings this morning with Toronto Police. They assured us they would be ready. They assured us these blockades would not be allowed, and they assured us they'd keep us safe. They have failed to do any of those things.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
That Wild Bill has been dragged out of here in a paddy wagon. The boys have gone after him. Absolutely wild.
They're just running after them, eh?
Wild.
Jeez. What are you seeing over there?
I don't know. Apparently Josh can keep up with
a paddy
wagon, but I can't. So.
That's funny. All right. Let's see if I can catch up. Oh, looks like he's coming back. Yeah, here's Josh. Josh Alexander running back. What's the plan, Josh?
I don't know. My brother's face is all bloodied up. He just got kidnapped by the Toronto Police. And God bless you, boys. We're gonna win. It was all worth it. We're gonna win, boys. It was worth it, boys. We're gonna win. Let's go. Yalla, brother.
This reminds me of James Topp a little bit. Hey there, do you know what's going on right now?
Not a fucking clue.
All right.
Well, I think there's protests and such, but
Yeah, it's against like the gender ideology, and some of the guys opposing it, I guess, got punched by a tranny or something. I'm not sure what happened, but
is that what happened? Because
one guy's face was all bloody. So
well, we were sitting over in the park, and all I heard was all the noise, so we decided to come over and check it out.
Yeah.
But I don't really. I'm not really in tune to what's going on, though I am aware of the problem and the situation and the issues.
Right, cool.
Issues at hand.
All right, cheers. Thanks, man. Hey, man. Whoa, man. Whoa.
Where's our microphone, man?
Hey, yo, guys. I'm just live on YouTube right now. Anybody want to share their thoughts?
Live on YouTube?
Yeah, you want to share your thoughts? Anyone?
Yeah.
What's up?
Man.
What's
Let
going on?
me speak.
Yeah.
Man, this is not right, man. We should be able to stay here and learn. But we're at the risk of these guys coming and barging in our school. But all we want to do is just learn.
Yeah.
He's right. He took it to our school.
Come on! All right, peace.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's like Gen Alpha I just talked to. Yeah.
How many people got taken away?
Big two.
Maybe they took order, that's why they're doing this.
We bent over multiple times, man. We allowed you to shut down the entire street to a school. As one of those we've had planned for months. I bent over backwards, we've been respectful, we've been working with you, we met with you guys beforehand. I warned you, I communicated with you. My brother is in trouble, let me get through.
Just distracting us.
And now his face is pouring blood and you guys have arrested him. The victim. And the vet was a victim as well. Pushed over,
Check video.
knocked Yan to the ground, threw me into a young lady.
Did you guys arrest anyone over there?
No,
On the other side?
They arrested Nick and Wild Bill. Nick is bleeding from the head. I saw that, yeah. It has to be done in person. Open the report right now. Calling the station later doesn't do in this case, guys.
557 is misconduct for not
Open the investigation. You have open the investigation right now.
failure to file.
I would like to open an investigation.
I would also like to.
As well.
would I. That's what you've got enough officers. Take one of her, one of me, one whoever else has. Isolate us all, take the statement. Do your job. An entire country is watching you right now.
If a person with a rainbow flag was bleeding, it'd be on CBC already.
I'm right here. I want to know where my brother is. Where is my brother? Where is my brother whose face is pouring blood right now? Last I saw him, you guys threw him in a paddy wagon. With the combat veteran. Protect and serve, right? Your job. Where's my brother? We're concerned for his safety, as we were all along. Where is my brother?
Was he arrested for getting punched? I don't get it. What happened?
Where is my brother? Answer the question. Answer the question. Be respectful. Answer the question. Where is my brother?
Aren't you supposed to arrest the person that punches, not the person who got punched? Isn't that how it works?
They're going to say they did it for his own safety.
Fuck all about it. Fuck all.
Did you arrest the victim for his own safety?
Fuck all when he got assaulted.
Why did you ignore the 3 previous assaults on the combat veteran earlier in the day? How come you didn't help that veteran when he was assaulted multiple times by these radical activists? How come you arrested the man that was hit and bleeding from the face? And the man that was assaulted 3 times, at least, on video earlier today.
You guys will probably be laughing about this later, too, eh? It's gross.
80 officers ready. How come you didn't start the blockade?
I think it's funny, probably,
Arrest the pedophiles! Arrest the teachers who are teaching children sex! Arrest the librarians who are teaching children pornography! Funny. It's funny.
Bunch of cowards. Follow up.
They won't arrest the person that assaulted the kid!
So it looks like Josh Alexander is just kind of on this police captain's ass. He's just like,
Me too! Where did his mother go?
My brother is wounded, as you all saw. I want to know where he is.
This is a family member. I believe you can tell them, right?
what happened?
They should be able to tell you.
Is this worth your pension, really?
Where is my
Is that worth it?
You ripped him out of the crowd with his face gushing blood. I want to know where my brother is.
Arrest the pedophiles!
Let his brother go!
Where's my brother?
Where is my brother?
Where's my brother, sir?
Why do these
Where is my brother?
Where are they running to?
Did you guys hear that? The cops snatched my microphone. I tried to get to hear what they were whispering. Did you hear what they were whispering, chat? Guys, did you hear what they were whispering? I'm looking at the chat right now. Did you guys hear what the cops were whispering to each other? Any intel there? Yo, I'm live on YouTube. You want to share some thoughts? Oh, you just saw?
Which side you on?
I'm with Billboard Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Just like, how do you feel
Hello.
about what you just saw?
I literally saw Nick Alexander. I didn't see him being assaulted, but I saw that his eye is all like messed up. And it was crazy is that they're like my age. I'm 18, and I fully I appreciate what they're doing, but like I can't believe like the amount of like he's my age. That is like mind-boggling for me.
Yeah.
Like.
And how about the behavior of the police?
Inexcusable, like absolutely inexcusable.
Yeah.
Like we're literally just standing here protesting, and even Josh and Nick Alexander are encouraging people to be peaceful. I heard it myself, right? So they're not inciting violence, they're not doing any of these things, and he fully got like assaulted. So
yeah.
And he's getting arrested. He got put in the van, like
For getting punched.
Yeah, and the veteran as well.
Yeah. I mean, what do you feel about? You have a hat that says "Save Canada." What do you think about the country of Canada right now?
I think Canada is a nation in distress. I definitely say that. My great uncle served and fought for this country, and I know even he's disappointed at what's going on right now. I feel like our country is in dire need of help. We need people rising up, and people are doing that, but they're being like persecuted for it.
Yeah, I think the most frustrating part, I think, is that I yelled this when they were taking them away, but it's like, if there was a rainbow person who had blood on them, it would be CBC News. Like, it would be all over the radio by now.
Whoever did it would be found. Whoever did it would be found and probably arrested. Like, I don't think there's anything doubting that. In this case, a man that got assaulted, Nick Alexander, is getting arrested. You're getting arrested for being assaulted? Like, that doesn't add up.
Yeah, good job, guys. Great work, huh? Great work. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Government planted cops, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anything else you want to share? I like your cross. Anything else you want to share about? I like your sticker as well. Keep prison single sex.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Well, I got it from a lady that runs this organization. It's about
what a wild concept, right?
Yeah. Why we shouldn't even have to say that. It's like biological women should be in there should be spaces exclusively for biological women. Yeah. I've experienced this firsthand. I've seen a biological man in my fitness change room at Planet Fitness.
Bruh.
Yeah, I've seen it myself. So.
And what do you you look kind of young. Are you like still in high school? Or?
I'm 18.
Wow. So what is it like in the schools when it comes? Like, are there a lot of are there like trans kids? Like everyone's embracing?
Oh, they're everywhere. There's many of them, and at times I feel like an outcast. But honestly, like
for being Christian,
being known as the anti-LGBT girl, all that sort of thing. They've defamed me, like.
So you get bullied for that?
Absolutely, all the time. You know what? And honestly, at first I would say I regret it, but I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
It's worth it, Like I had sacrificed my 4 years of high school, almost being jumped a few times. Actually, I narrowly escaped, but I would do it all over again.
Just for being a Christian, for standing up for yourself.
Yep.
Wow,
exactly.
That's crazy. I mean, that's great that you're like getting involved now because you have the foresight, right? You're seeing like, is this going to turn around? Is anyone challenging this?
I sure hope it does turn around.
And when did you first hear about Josh Alexander or Billboard Chris?
I probably found them through Instagram. I have like an activism kind of page, so I mean, the good thing about at least younger people with my side of in this generation. I try to use the social media that's there for good.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of just, the wrong thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not there to sell things. I'm trying to reach people.
Okay. But are you seeing some hope along with Josh Alexander? Do you also have like a network of Christian friends or like is there?
Yeah, I've made connections, which is definitely it makes me feel better about the whole situation.
Yeah.
I'm very much, I told Josh myself, like when I met him for the first time today, that I'm very inspired that someone like my age is like standing up and quite sacrificing a lot because, I mean, let's face it, his reputation, I mean, we think of him as a good person, but the rest of people, like, he's probably not safe where he goes, like, just like me. Like, I got off the bus stop, I wasn't safe, there was a bunch of them behind me, right? So, like, I'm very inspired. For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you also, like, people are afraid to say something that's like anti-gay these days, and that's kind of how this gender ideology got into schools, right? People don't want to challenge it because they've been called homophobes. And I think that what we're seeing with these protests this week, people are starting to like not be afraid of that anymore. Hey, call me homophobic, I don't care. I feel like younger people kind of get this. How it's like they're just calling you that.
Yeah, at this point it's just empty words. Like I've been called every name under the sun. Like, I'm not going to say certain names, but pretty graphic things. And honestly, I honestly feel for these people at some point because I'm like, these people some of them genuinely believe what they're saying, right? And it's unfortunate, but it's just empty words. Like, the truth about yourself. They're calling you racist or homophobic, transphobic, any of these things. You know the truth, right?
Yeah, you know what's in your head, right? Yeah. Do you want to plug your social media or anything, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. And quick hug. It's great. It's crazy out there.
What's your channel?
It's Greg Wycliffe. You can go to gregthe.com, gregthe.com. It'll forward to my YouTube channel.
Hi, Greg.
You want to get an interview with one of the kids?
my brother just got cornered by the counter protesters. I asked the police to let me get through to him, communicate with him. They wouldn't allow it. That was 10 minutes before he was punched in the face. His face is gushing blood right now. The police arrested him, of course, like they usually do. Took him off into a single person metal box paddy wagon.
Unmarked car, you know.
They will not allow me to speak to him. They won't say what he was charged with, and they aren't providing him medical treatment.
The kidnapping.
They kidnapped him. I told them I wish to report a kidnapping. But.
And that's Canada. That's Canada of today, guys.
They also took
Wild Bill as a combat
Wild
veteran.
Bill, an airborne veteran.
So what did he do, allegedly? You don't even know.
He was two-based.
He was assaulted. Bill was assaulted a few times.
Yeah, Bill was right. Do we know if any of the Rainbow people got arrested or anything?
No.
There's been one Antifa earlier that got arrested. That was early.
That was early. I need to talk to Chris really quick.
Do you have any comments, Max, of that the police are basically siding with the Rainbow side? And
It's
looks
a
like
shame. It's a shame. And look the
There's
crowd
only
here.
two genders.
Look the crowd here. It's peaceful.
There's only two genders.
Yeah, I know that. And the crowd is happy. We know what we are doing. On the other side, they're throwing names at us. They don't have to have any discussion. They're about hate. We're about love and protecting our kids. So I don't know what the police is doing. They're supposed to be there to be sure that we'll be safe here and free and being able, we have a charter of rights. We must be able to have peaceful assembly here, and that's what is happening. But on the other side, I try to have a discussion with them, and they won't. So let's be honest, do what we have to do all together on social media, in the real life, fight for your values, and we'll be able to bring common sense in this country. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Bernier, justice is supposed to be blind, but it seems that it's wearing x-ray glasses these days. I've witnessed a couple of people being arrested on the demonstration side for basically being victims. One, a veteran just standing there, and one, Josh Alexander's brother, cut open above his eye, allegedly by an umbrella by the Spirit Unicorn community, and he's the one that gets arrested, not the person wielding the umbrella. What do you make of this?
As you may know, shame on the police. I was arrested also for nothing. I was arrested in a park 2 years ago when I was fighting for freedom. I didn't anything wrong. I was just there to speak about my values. And, we don't have any freedom of speech in this country. When you're a political leader and just before an electoral election, you are in a park and having a meeting and you're handcuffed, arrested for a non-crime, and I was in jail for 12 hours. I'm not surprised that the police is doing that right now. Shame on them. But the most important, it's a peaceful protest today. We are there for the real values, and I hope, and I'll put all my hope with Josh and his brothers. Josh is a good fighter, a peaceful fighter, kids, and did nothing wrong. But people on the other side, they're the one who are throwing name at us, being violent. They call what they're doing anti-hate. It's 1984. Anti-hate is hate, and more people know that right now. So let's focus on the future and on our ideas, and I believe that we'll be able to solve that today.
Mr. Bernier, the big question, I think, is are the police acting on their own accord, or are they being meddled with by their political puppet masters? Are they being told, hands off the Spirit Unicorns, but if the demonstrators dare get out of line, throw the book at them? Is this what we're seeing?
That's a nice question. I believe that's the question, and I believe you must ask that question to them. I want to know their answer.
Thank you, Mr. Bernier.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And well, with HateGate, we know that it's there is a collaboration between the people lying and the law enforcement. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think's next for this movement in terms of the
growing? Yeah, there's only one direction, the right one. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Max. Cheers. All right. That was Max. How's it going, sir? Got to move some stuff around here. 1 second, guys. There's a quick little meeting between Billboard Chris and Josh. I saw Derek Sloan, who I haven't talked to yet. Where's Derek Sloan? Oh, there he is.
The police is protecting a certain class of citizens that have extra rights that are apparently superior to us, and you can see, who their back is turned to, and they're not for us.
Well, I really appreciate that. Anything else you want to tell us about this protest today?
Well, it was very peaceful from our end. From their end, I saw violence, police also assaulting. So this is clearly politicized. I mean, you see the agenda that's going on. You see that it's one-sided. There's a double standard. There's hypocrisy, and we know that the unions are funding this. Unions are participating in this, and it's all coming from the NDP Liberal Party.
Absolutely. Well, really good to see you again. Say hi to your dad for me when you go back to Alberta, and we look forward to seeing both you guys against you. Thanks a lot, Natalia. God bless you.
It's a good photo. Don't worry.
Did you have time to chat?
Sure. Derek? Very quickly, though, but yeah.
Absolutely.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Do you want to hold this? Can you hold this?
Sure.
Don't like the wire?
Yeah, we're live on YouTube right now. Make it nice and tight. Oh, actually, can you hold that too? Sorry. We were at the trucker convoy together, me and this guy, so we know each other real well. So we're here with Derek Sloan, and we did see violence. It came from the side with the trans flags and the rainbow flags.
Yes.
We saw the guy on our side bleeding and carried off in a paddy wagon.
Yes.
I have no words right now. What do you have to like? How do you comprehend the situation?
Well, I mean, this is just a battle over words and perception. And the fact is that the other side is using tactics that are associated with fascism and totalitarianism, but yet they're calling us fascists. So, eventually the public will get wise to sort of who's being violent. They don't have arguments, they don't have science on their side, so they want to use intimidation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
And of course, you joined the Ontario Party, which is very exciting. Family values, right? It's been a while since I looked at your stuff.
Faith, family, and freedom. Those are our three taglines, and we're completely against indoctrination in the school system and in favor of school choice, which would actually get rid of this. If you fund the student instead of the parent, instead of the school system rather, the parents can make the decision about where their kids go to school.
Amazing. And a question that's been on a lot of conservatives' minds since Wednesday is, where is Pierre?
He's hoping this will blow over. I mean, he doesn't want to be sidetracked by, controversial issues like this. But it's important that politicians are...
you got to get off the line. This guy is pointing at us.
It's important that politicians lead and not just follow. And so, if it's important that politicians stand up and have courage. And now is the time to do that. Not later. Not later.
Yes, and that is so key in politics, because it's annoying when 6-9 months after the fact, then a politician starts to speak up. And a great example is, oh my God, Chinese interference. Chinese interference is such a popular talking point. But you, at the beginning of the pandemic, you said, "Hey, Theresa Tam, who do you work for? China?" And you got roasted over the coals. You got basically crucified for saying this. What was that experience like? And people have theories that just kind of led to you being ousted from the party 9 months later. What's it like to see the Chinese interference now be such a big, glowing talking point with the conservatives?
Well, listen, politicians are happy to talk about issues when it suits them. They're happy to talk about issues. If everybody else knows about it, politicians are happy to, hammer down on it and talk about it. But they don't usually have a lot of courage to go out on a limb. And unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of courage in our elected politicians, generally speaking.
Awesome. So there's also the there's the true blue party, and then there's the Ontario Party, and then don't even get me started on Alberta. But how do you differentiate yourself from the new blue party?
Well, the new blue, so the Ontario Party and New Blue are provincial parties. The PPC is federal, so we're not in direct competition with the PPC. The Ontario Party was started as an attempt to sort of bring some unity. There was multiple parties that were being formed or in the process of being formed, and we did our best to work with every single party that was forming And some of those overtures worked well, and some of them didn't. And some people work better with others than other people. And our doors are open, and we're happy to work with any other party that's out there. And that's
Amazing.
That's a fact.
So you might be collaborating with Max Bernier again, who was here today, obviously.
Well, listen, I like Max, and of course we play on 2 different game fields, but I hope he does well in this upcoming election.
Amazing. And finally, I do want to ask, because if I'm not mistaken, I saw a tweet last night that you used to be the MP for Lennox and Addington?
Hastings, Lennox, and Addington.
Yeah, and the current MP is defending the Rainbow side, the Conservative MP. Did you see that?
Yes. Well, I didn't see that specific tweet, but I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Was that a thing?
Listen, there's many people in Hastings, Lennox, and Addington who are very concerned about what's going on.
I hope the quality isn't bad. All right. Sorry, guys, just got to cool the phone down. You're going only for an hour 30. Wow, okay. Super chat from Karina Parks. Keep it up. No, I did not get a coffee on me. Keep it up. No, I did not get a coffee on me. Well, thanks for the $5. That's amazing. Thanks so much. We're trying to cool this thing down. We're in the shade right now. Just got to talk to Derek Sloan. Oh, we haven't talked to Billboard Chris yet. So can you hold this again? So we're gonna cool it down. If you want, just kind of like look around at some stuff. But just stay in the shade though. Stay in the shade. Stay in the shade. That sign. All right, let's try to do this in the shade. So stay right here. Hey, we're live on YouTube. Did you want to chat? Sure. Awesome. So just step back a bit so you're in the shade here. And then let me grab that. Yeah, on that one, sure. Hey, so you're all decked out in this stuff. Amazing. What brings you down here today?
So I'm here to protest against the stuff that they're trying to do to our kids. I was a tomboy growing up. If I'd been growing up now in school, I think I would have been in trouble because as a little kid, you're easily impressionable. You can believe that things exist that don't exist.
Yeah.
And it would be all too easy for them to trick you. Yeah. And if your parents weren't allowed to say anything to prevent that and save you, then you'd be in trouble. So I'm standing up for all the other little tom girls or tomboys out there.
Yeah, I've interviewed a lot of people on Wednesday too, and you're actually the first one to bring up their kids are very impressionable. That's a very simple statement that it's for some reason the other side doesn't believe is true.
They
right?
think that children are capable of making choices that adults make. Well, I don't know, like when you were younger, I really wanted to live in a zoo when I was a little kid.
Right.
Like, right in the middle of the zoo in a tree
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But
Come a bit closer.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's just people are so crazy. If a kid wants it, they should have it at a young age. They tell you things like, oh, if a little baby tries to pull off the buttons of its onesie to make it look like a dress, that means it's gender expression. It's letting you know it's really a girl if it's a boy. That's crazy. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And it's almost like they constantly push and push and push and make it more insane and more insane.
Yeah, they're seeing how far they can push it and how much people will accept.
Yeah.
And we can't let it continue because the only thing that it's going to cause is harm. And all those children who've been on hormones and had surgeries and their bodies are wrecked, how are they going to live full lives? They're going to be in pain. They're going to be on meds all the time.
Yeah, it's so annoying. The rainbow side does not account for any of the horrible consequences of their ideology. Why do you think that is? Do you think these people are delusional, misled?
I think that they're easily impressionable, and somebody at the top of that is taking advantage of it, and they're using them, and they don't realize that they're being used.
Absolutely. So you got a Save Canada hat on. When did you first hear about Josh Alexander? When did you first start to get political, I guess?
I'm a Christian homeschooler, so at an early age, I have been involved in this stuff for a very long time now, and it's only been getting worse.
Right.
So
And what did you think though when you saw Josh Alexander stand up and say something?
I was happy to see it. There's not too many younger kids that would stand up, and I'm sure there's others who have stood up and that we don't know about because they don't have the same support system that he has. So it's great that he's speaking out and maybe motivate more younger children to realize that they have a voice. They're allowed to talk.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing they're trying to shut down. They don't want there to be two sides to a story. They just want there to be one.
Yeah.
And if you say anything against it, well, you're a racist, you're bigoted, you're
Right.
homophobic. And
Heard that before. It's getting old, isn't it?
Yes, it's getting very old. I'm quite sick of it.
Here's a good question. A lot of people have had this question since Wednesday. Where is Pierre?
That's a good question. He's a slick guy. He likes to talk the talk, but he doesn't really walk the walk, and that's concerning. I don't trust him. I want to be able to think that he's a good person, but I haven't quite seen the actions required for me to believe that. And, you know, politicians who are just all words, they get in and they do nothing.
Yeah.
So he could be just as bad as Trudeau. We don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time will tell.
And you look younger yourself. When you were in high school, or if you're in high school, like what has your experience been like? Are there a lot of people embracing this ideology and making it like part of their aesthetic, or like what have you seen?
Well, I'm 25. I was homeschooled, but I was working at a young age around other people.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, a lot of people don't agree with the alphabet people. They are afraid to speak out about it, though. They don't want to have the conversation, and people are stunned by it.
Yeah.
If you want to have the conversation. Like, I've worked with people who are on that side of the fence, and they just assumed because we got along and they liked me that I clearly must agree with them, otherwise they wouldn't like me.
You must think all these people are fascists because you didn't say anything, right?
Yeah. So when I disagree with them on stuff, they were like, but we liked you. What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, we can disagree and still be friends.
No, but I thought you were a good person. Now it's confirmed you're a bad person.
What do you know of me? You know I'm not a bad person.
I know everything I need to know because the CBC said.
Yeah. Too much mainstream media will rot your brain. Don't watch it too much. Know what's going on, but look for other opinions, no matter what side you're on. You have to be looking at what the other side is saying and considering all of the different things. Otherwise, you're just brainlessly following and not thinking for yourself. Don't be a follower.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you know, Camille, who was one of the leaders for like 1 million March for Children the other day, he did a video where he kind of said like, hey, LGBTQ plus, like, you know, you should not counter protest because we disagree with your lifestyle, you disagree with ours. Like, we're going to start showing up to pride parades. And people were saying like, ooh, that's starting to sound a little anti-gay, Camille. And it's like, well, we're already getting called anti-gay. We're already getting called even worse than that, like fascist and blah, 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 blah. And also, when can we start to criticize the LGBTQ plus? Like, how about when they start to kind of systemically encourage kids to sterilize themselves? Can we criticize them now? What do you think about that? Because people are still afraid to say, oh, I'm not anti-gay though.
I'm not against people being gay. I'm against it being forced on me. They don't want you just to accept that they exist. They want you to acknowledge them in every aspect and praise them. And like,
worship me.
Yeah, they want you
worship me.
They want you to promote it to your kids and take them to drag shows. I'm sorry, but those are not appropriate for children. If they're going to push that message and these people stand behind this flag and say this is what we want, then I'm sorry, you're the real hate group.
Yeah.
They're not tolerant. We see every single one of those people over there has a mask on and won't show their face.
Yeah.
And they're yelling, you're a fascist. Well, I don't think they've actually looked at the definition of what a fascist is.
Yeah.
But if they're so proud of what they're standing behind, why are their faces covered?
Yeah. Why are the fascists getting dragged off in police cars? Is that how it works? The fascists get dragged off in police cars? I think there's something.
Yeah. There's
anyway.
a disconnect there.
Yeah. And what did you think when you saw that? Because like we've seen this kind of behavior from the police before, where they're defending the rainbow cult. So
it's crazy. I don't believe for a minute that the veteran did anything because I was talking to him this morning and I've met him at a few other things. Yeah. He's a really nice guy. He's not violent at all. So they did something to him, the police pick him up, and where's your justice? We know which side the police are on based off their actions there. They're supposed to be middle ground. They're supposed to be protecting both sides, but they're clearly showing they have a bias.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you're a Christian, and I think that's very, very, very relevant. And I've talked to a lot of conservatives, and they're kind of afraid, like, they're like, yeah, maybe Christians, sort of, like, I don't know about religion. And it's like, guys, we are up against this super crazy globalist rainbow religion where thou must not criticize anyone who's LGBTQ. Like, that is literally part of their belief. Like, you cannot do that. And that's really like part of their moral prerogative. It's like, if you disagree with that, you are a bad person. So how important do you think, or how powerful do you think something like Christianity can be to like help out to defeat this?
I think it's hugely important because that's the only way that we win. We're based off Christianity. If you don't have Christianity, what do you have? What are you standing behind? What commandments are you using to rule your life? Is anything right? Can I just go and hurt somebody on the street and
Yeah. I'm trying to think of back when I was an atheist. I forget how I would have answered that question.
It takes a lot of faith to be an atheist because you got to believe in nothing. That's a pretty active religion right there.
Right. And it's very funny, actually, when you do talk to an atheist about this, they basically give you an answer that's like, there's some sort of like kind of thing I can't talk about. There's some sort of morality that people have. Yeah, like you have a soul or something. So really like you have a conscience or something. Well, yeah, it goes kind of straight to you have some sort of spiritual belief about people that we all share this. And it's like, you're not an atheist, bro.
You're an agnostic who hasn't realized it yet.
Yeah. We got to embrace the cross. Do you want to talk about your signs before we go or say anything else? You got a lot of cool signs.
Yeah. So I got my biology is not your costume because it's not. And every time you see one of these trans or drag show things, they're making a mockery of women. They're trying to erase us. They want us to be okay with men, intact males, going into our bathrooms and change rooms.
Yeah.
So which is just terrible. Like, how do you even say that that's okay? That's not okay by any stretch of the imagination. It's not okay. And when the girls say they're uncomfortable, they're told that it's their fault, their problem. Just be quiet, shut up. So now we're trying to silence women again, so you can't have your opinion on stuff.
Yeah.
Nah.
And it's crazy because like I'll admit some drag shows can be quite entertaining because like they do this like caricature of women.
For adults.
Yeah, they're for adults. And I was going to say, like, what is the line between a drag performance and a trans person? And by the way, these are very crude caricatures of women. Like, they're like a skinny skank, or they're some, like, provocative whatever. It's like, yes, this is what a woman is. Basically, according to a gay man most of the time.
Yeah, it's a mockery. So are the women going to let the men who dress like women speak for them? They're winning all the competitions.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to allow? No.
Yeah, you never see a drag queen or a drag person who's like, I really love my children and like I want to stay home and nurture them as much as possible. You never really see a drag performance like that,
No. It's becoming a big problem, especially in schools, and young children who are afraid to speak out, so they're just going to go along with a boy in their change room changing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even comfortable changing around other women. You think I want a man in there too? No thanks.
Yeah. And then it's such gaslighting because it's your problem. It's your problem to not want to see a man in the change room. You're so intolerant. It's insane. And it really is us against the indoctrination, right? Because it's like, this is not that complicated. This is pretty basic stuff. Even 5 years ago, it would be insane to see what's being pushed now and like normalized.
We're going to live with what we put up with. So we need to stop putting up with it. Women need to stand up, no matter what your age, stand up. And the men around them need to stand up with them. Because a lot of them are very young women who are being put in these circumstances. And they need other men and women who are older and wiser than them to stand with them and help them so that they can actually have a voice and speak out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much to talk about, but it's like back in the day, there used to be mentally ill men who would prey upon women. And now there's mentally ill men who are using the trans card to prey upon women, And again, this side likes to act like it's just rainbows and butterflies. Like there is no negative consequences to the ideas. It's all just great.
Talk to the detransitioners.
Yeah.
Look down the road. Is that going to be all of these young men and women who have all these medical issues and are just have to have their pharmaceuticals in order to stay alive? Yeah. Is that what we really want? Because if you get a surgery, that's a wound that's never going to heal if you're a man trying to become a woman. And what happened to the whole accept who you are thing? Like you were born this way. You're perfect the way you are, but you need to go on hormones and surgeries in order to look like this.
That could be a good skit. It's like a Pfizer commercial with the Lady Gaga song, like hormones, like bottom surgery, mastectomy, and it's like you were born this way, baby. You were born this way. It's like no, you literally weren't. You literally were not.
You can be a effeminate man and still be a man, and you can be a masculine woman and still be a woman. It's completely fine. When somebody starts telling you, oh, but you need this drug and you need this surgery, no, they're wrong. Think again. Look at the other side. Look at the detransitioners. If you're thinking about doing that to yourself or somebody in your family is, speak out.
Yeah.
Because you may be the only thing standing between them and a future that nobody wants.
Amazing. Are you? When are you joining politics? Like, when are you running?
I don't think I'm quite the politician.
And that's why you'd be great.
Maybe, but not right now. Maybe one day. I don't have a choice.
Yeah. No, seriously. Hey, you think I wanted to be here? No. None
of us want to be here. We want to be just living our lives and doing our thing. We're forced to come to stuff like this unless we want to just let them roll over us.
Yeah. And their belief is that we're just like these rabid assholes or like fascists.
The only rabid people I've seen are on the other side of those flags and stuff that won't show their face. They're crazy.
Real quickly, I do like this sign too. No government co-parenting.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
So I was given this sign at the Million Man March. I was in Orangeville the other day.
Nice.
And
How was that?
It was really good. We had quite a few people.
Nice.
And we were having a lot of fun with the alphabet folks who were yelling like no hate, so we joined them in their chant. And then they would change the chant. We're like, yeah, we agree with you too on this. So eventually they stopped chanting.
Nice.
But they're told not to talk to us, and some of them admit to being paid to be there. So, you know, if you believe in it, you go for free. You don't need to be paid.
Do you? Oh, I forgot what I was going to ask now. Yeah, I'm not sure what I was going to say.
You'll remember it tonight when you're laying in bed.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your time, I guess. I asked about Pierre Poilievre, right? Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. Cool. Did you want to plug any social media or anything?
I don't have social media, so.
Nice. Amazing. Oh, I remember now. Did you have any success chatting to people over there?
I tried to, and they shoved umbrellas in my face. So they were like poking me with the end of it.
Yeah.
So they weren't very nice.
Amazing.
They won't talk to you. They don't want to. Because their arguments can't stand up to logic and reason.
Yeah.
So they have to give up where they're
Yeah,
at.
that logic and reason part.
Yeah, it gets in the way of fascism.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank
Anything
you.
else you wanted to share?
Yeah, I'll give you that. No, I think that's all.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Take care.
Yeah, take care. I think I want to go up to the line right now.
What's your channel?
My name's Greg Wycliffe. Ooh, we need this ASAP. This is at 5%.
Your channel's what?
Greg Wycliffe?
Greg Wycliffe.
Yeah. I'll put it here. Did you find it? You got it?
You right?
Correct?
Perfect. Subscribe to you.
Cheers. Love it. I wanna go to the line here. Oh, should I record this maybe?
They're in there. Answer questions, and apparently he's been taken off. I saw him get put into a single box paddy wagon, and he wasn't given medical treatment. He was just hauled off down the road.
What happened when he first got here?
Yeah, so when we first arrived on scene, there was only like 7 of us, and we were just coming down the sidewalk. Of course, the Antifa were here early. They came up, they had a metal bar, they hit my brother in the head with it. It bent, like it broke in half. It was, I don't know what it was, if it was a selfie stick, what it was, but anyways, there were several assaults. The police witnessed it, refused to help. They finally started to make a separation, but clearly they aren't cooperating. I've been speaking with the Toronto Police now for 2 months, trying to make sure this goes smoothly, and this is how they repay it.
This is Canada, everybody. I've been arrested twice after getting assaulted. It's all on video. The first one's all on video. Even back then, in October of 2020, it was a union rep who assaulted me right in front of a dozen police officers. His name's Robert Ages. He's a union rep in British Columbia for the BC Government Service Employees Union or something. And they arrested me. They charged me with causing a disturbance. They banned me from walking on 4 streets in the middle of downtown Vancouver. So for 6 months when I started my campaign, I wasn't even allowed to walk downtown until the Crown prosecutor finally threw out the charge, which was disappointing because I would have loved to have gone to trial. A second time in December of 2020, I was arrested after getting sucker punched from behind. As I was standing by myself on a street corner, a guy sucker punched me. I was dazed for about 7 seconds. And when I kind of came to, I went to get this guy's picture. I didn't even know who hit me. Some young guys pointed him out, and he ran. So I wasn't in the mood to get assaulted again and have this guy get away. I felt he should be arrested. And we do have the right to do citizens' arrest in Canada. So I gave this man a single push into a wall to stop him from running away. He fell down. I walked away to de-escalate, did everything right. Police came and arrested me, naturally. They ended up releasing me. And they said that I do have the right to do citizens' arrest. Then 3 months later, I got a phone call from the Vancouver police saying that they wanted me to come in and give a statement because they were looking at charging me with assault causing bodily harm. My lawyer said, no, don't go in. But I vowed then and there, I'm never touching anyone again. And so a week after that phone call in March of 2021, I was in Montreal. I got jumped on the street by 6 or 7 members of Antifa, immediately punched in the face, took a huge shot to the back of my head, which left a dent kind of near the base of my skull. My chiropractor was trying to work that out. And then a guy swung a big traffic cone at my head 4 times, which I blocked each time with my forearm, but one of those blows broke my arm. What did police do then? Nothing. They have CCTV footage of everyone. They could have followed them, see what car they got into. They did nothing. The police said there was nothing they could do unless I gave them the names of my masked and hooded attackers. So here again today, your brother gets attacked, he gets arrested. This is the state of Canada, everybody.
And not only that, while I'm trying to ask questions, the police grab me, fire me into a young lady. They throw my cameraman to the ground. The police are completely acting without their code of conduct, and we need to hold them accountable for that. I'll be filing plenty of reports, and I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of time in court after this.
All right. Let's end this with a quick message. There's no such thing as a transgender child. This whole ideology is false. They're called girls and boys. The body positive message we should be sending is they're beautiful just as they are. No drugs or scalpels needed. So thank you to everyone who's coming out. Thank you to everyone watching online. We've got to be brave. We've got to have courage to tell simple truth. Almost everyone agrees with this. So just keep telling the truth. And when enough parents learn what's going on, we're going to put a stop to this child abuse and to this abusive ideology. Thank you so much.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
I want to know about solutions because, like,
people just move out of the live stream, please. Thank you.
People who think like us are clearly under attack, not just by people with rainbow flags, but also the police. And so, when it comes to solutions, we want to look to larger institutions or larger groups. But where is Pierre Poilievre? He's not here right now. Why do you think that is?
Pierre Poilievre is a coward. The entire Conservative Party is full of cowardice. Not one Conservative MP, not one Conservative MP will speak out against the mass sterilization of children. They're giving an experimental drug to kids, a drug never approved by Health Canada, a cancer drug, a drug for endometriosis in women, a drug given to this day in Canada's penal system to pedophiles because it chemically castrates them. But we give this drug to kids for years. And where's the Conservative Party? Nowhere to be seen. Children are being taught in these schools that they may be born in the wrong body. What does it mean? Nobody can tell you, because it means nothing. It's nonsense. Imagine telling your child that they were born wrong, that there's something wrong with them, and then they're only going to find true happiness by physically transitioning with drugs and surgeries. And where's the Conservative Party? Nowhere to be seen. In fact, it's the opposite. They passed a bill, they voted unanimously to make it a crime to help a child feel comfortable with their sex. If a parent objects to their own child's transition, they're powerless to stop it. Child Protective Services will even take your child away from you. I've talked to parents who've been threatened by CPS that if they don't affirm their child's pronouns, they consider it abuse, as though you're punching your kid. It's the same thing. So parents are all walking on eggshells. No counselors will even talk to these kids anymore because the counselors are afraid of being charged with conversion therapy if they try to help these kids feel comfortable in their skin.
Because that's illegal now. For those who don't know, it's essentially any sort of, is it therapy to essentially steer a kid away from transitioning or from, a homosexual lifestyle? That is illegal right now.
So this bill covered two aspects. It covered sexual orientation and gender identity. It's a bill called Bill C-4. And it says it's a crime to help your child to identify as they are, not to identify. We don't identify as anything, but this is the wording of the bill, of course, right? It says it's a crime if you're not okay with your child transitioning. It's a crime, as in the wording of the bill, to want them to be cisgender, which is a made-up term, but the left use this term as someone who identifies as their sex. And as I said, we don't identify as anything. We just are male or female. It's totally fine under this bill to convince a child that they're trans. It's fine to take a girl who's fully comfortable being a girl and convince her, because of whatever trauma or abuse or difficulties are going on in her life, you can brainwash her to believe that she's really a boy on the inside. That's called loving and kindness. But to then help her feel comfortable as a girl again, that's now considered conversion therapy. So they include the sexual orientation aspect in these bills because they know that will get widespread support and that we shouldn't be trying to convert gay people to straight. But the real purpose of these bills is to stop helping children feel comfortable with their bodies and to put a chill on the whole psychotherapeutic profession. So parents are all walking on eggshells. It's totally nuts. And as I say every time, there's no such thing as a transgender child. They're called boys and girls. They're beautiful just as they are.
And real quick, just on the name calling that happens. We had Justin Trudeau on Wednesday say anybody who stands up for this is basically anti-gay, homophobic, all this stuff. Personally, I think we really need to rise above this name calling because we're having people getting punched and thrown in cop cars and with no justice whatsoever. So like the last thing that we need to be intimidated by is name calling, right?
Yeah, Trudeau spoke out against all the rampant transphobia, homophobia, and this is a good one, biphobia on the streets of Ottawa. It's totally ridiculous. Every single press conference Justin Trudeau ever gives is all about division. It's all about how oppressive some class of Canadians are and these poor oppressed people. He is the Prime Minister of division. That's the only thing he's good at. And we need to vote him out. But you know what? Voting in Pierre Poilievre isn't going to make much difference. Just last night, one of the Conservative MPs, in response to a question about the protests, she said she stood against hate. Really? She's calling these tens of thousands of Canadians hateful because they don't want their children to be taught that they're born wrong? Total joke. Instead of just voting against something, which is the method of a lot of these Conservative voters, instead of just voting against Trudeau, how about we vote for something? How about we vote for our values? The only real Conservative running for politics are all the PPC members, the People's Party of Canada, led by Maxime Bernier. They're the only ones who will tell the truth about this. They're the only ones standing up for kids. They're the only ones standing up for parental rights. And they're the only ones who stood up against the violations of our freedoms during all the COVID mandate nonsense.
Correct. And I'll give some credit to Derek Sloan, who showed up today as well.
Yeah, Derek Sloan, it was a Conservative MP who got kicked out of the party because he's Conservative. There's a man who worked for Garnet Jenius, I think is how you say his name. Great guy. I've talked to him on the street of Ottawa a few times. He was going to run for an open seat that had come up for the Conservative Party. But in Canada, we don't have democracy. You're not allowed to run for the Conservative Party unless the Conservative Nomination Committee lets you run. It's not like in the US where they have this primary system and anyone can try to primary another Republican. You have to first get approval to run. And because this man is against abortion, the Conservative Party of Canada wouldn't let him run. It's crazy. It's totally nuts.
And one last question. In the 1 million march, for the 1 million march for kids, there was a leader, Camille, who's Muslim, and he was kind of talking some sentiment of, you know what, I just don't like the LGBTQ plus lifestyle in general. And there's also, Josh Alexander, who's Christian, who I believe might share some similar views of like, I don't really believe in transgenderism in general. I don't know if he said that or not, but there certainly are religious people who kind of reject the LGBTQ as a whole. Do you welcome any of this rhetoric? Do you think it's warranted? I know you have your own messaging, but kind of like, what's your take on that?
So first of all, there's no such thing as an LGBT community.
Right.
The TQ needs to be separated totally from the LGB. LGB is about sexual orientation. Okay? Gay people exist, all right? I've got tons of gay friends. And we're not going to roll back gay rights. That's not effective messaging. You can have whatever beliefs you want. But this isn't about gay people. This is about queer theory. This is about transgenderism. This is about teaching children that they might be born wrong. And the larger umbrella of queer theory is about destroying everything normal in society. It's about taking everything that's deviant in the world and trying to normalize it, including pedophilia. They don't even want to call them pedophiles. They want to call them minor attracted persons and pretend that this is just their innate sexual orientation. So no, it's not effective to speak against homosexuality. You can have whatever beliefs you want in a free country, but that's not what we should be talking about. We need to stay focused on gender ideology.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time, Chris. And I guess the other thing is, actually, I think I'm good. I think I'm done. All right. I had a question, but it was gone.
I got a quick question for you. As I just showed up, Chris, how have the police dealt with the protests today so far?
Yeah, so I've got Rob Primo here, brave Canadian patriot who's been exposing a lot of this stuff. I didn't see what happened, but Josh Alexander's brother has been punched in the face. He's bleeding, and he's been arrested, and he's been taken to jail. A veteran, I don't know if he did anything either. I think he just came to Josh's brother's defense. His brother's name is Nick. He's been arrested as well. So I didn't see anyone who punched Nick get arrested. It didn't happen. Again, the victim of the assault is the guy getting arrested. This happens all the time in Canada.
And do you think that this has anything to do with politics?
Well, everything in a way has something to do with politics. But of course, the only approved opinion right now in Canada is of these masked and hooded child abusers who want to tell our children that there's something wrong with them and who want to sterilize them and turn them into anorgasmic lifelong pharmaceutical patients. They somehow have the support of all the media, all the government agencies, all the school boards, all the unions. We're fighting Goliath here. But you know what? Who won the fight in David versus Goliath?
David.
It was David, and we're kicking their butt. We're going to keep kicking their butt. We're winning spectacularly, and they're freaking out because they know they're losing the public relations battle. They had to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to push this ideology into society. We have no money, but the truth spreads for free, and we're going to keep spreading it.
There's one thing that I really respect about you is that we're constantly being demoralized here in Canada, and you're really good at answering to demoralization with morals. And I'm just kind of wondering if you maybe want to deliver a message to your fellow Canadians on, how you keep yourself cool and how you keep yourself, looking the way that you do, dealing with these situations when we're all, angry and upset.
Well, I keep myself looking the way I do because I have a steamer that I use for my blazers. No, I'm just kidding. I do have a steamer.
What's the brand?
You know what?
What's the brand name?
I look ridiculous enough already. I'm a human sandwich board. So I wear a blazer. I try to look nice because, believe it or not, you do garner a little bit more respect if you just look decent. If I'm out here in jogging pants and tank top, it's not going to work very well. But we have to stay cool. We have to present ourselves as the rational, calm people. Because the average normie out there, they're not on gender Twitter where they're reading about all this stuff. They know nothing about this. They hear the lies from the fake media. But then when they see media coverage of this, what are they going to see? They're going to see masked and hooded Antifa members, and they see a bunch of peaceful, normal-looking Canadians. Without hearing any of the messaging, you've already made a huge impact. Yeah. They're already on our side. So
because they look crazy.
People get mad at me when I say don't bring the F Trudeau flags and don't bring the upside-down Canadian flags. And of course you have freedom of expression in Canada. Do whatever you want. But you know what? I'm out here trying to be effective. And profanity doesn't help us to be effective. It doesn't help to get our message out there. Because the average person, people like my parents, they see those flags and they go, these people are kind of crazy. It looks rude to them. And we're out here at a school protest. We shouldn't have profanity. There's kids. Try to hold yourself to a higher standard. Yes, you have freedom of expression, but you also have freedom to hold yourself to a higher standard and be more effective. What's wrong with that? Just do that. Stay calm. Never respond to the provocation. So James Lindsay, Conceptual James on Twitter, is a fabulous person to follow.
Unbelievable, yeah.
He's fighting the woke mind virus all across the world, and he does podcasts on this. The left is very experienced. When they act crazy, they're doing this for a reason. They're trying to provoke a reaction from you. Never give the left what they want. When you react and you get emotional, you are doing their bidding. That's what they want. They want to get you on camera swearing, acting crazy, getting violent, because they get those clips. CTV, CBC, all the mainstream media run with these clips, and they try to make us look bad. So never give them what they want. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm as calm as can be. People are shouting at me, they're attacking me, I don't respond. And now, because they've learned these attacks don't work on me, they don't even try it with me anymore. I went to a protest in Pennsylvania recently. There was 200 people there. When I got there, they were all mute. They wouldn't say a word. That looks even worse, because I got this video footage of 200 people who can't say a single word as I'm asking normal questions. And when someone does try to respond to me, immediately there's someone in our ear saying, oh, we're not engaging. And so then it shows the rest of the world, why can't they engage on this subject? I'm out here trying to have an honest, peaceful, science, logic-based conversation, and all they can say is, you're a fascist. We're winning spectacularly when we stay calm.
Chris, a quick update on what happened with Save Canada today. Chris, Josh Alexander and his brother, can you just provide us an update on what happened? What you know.
So I didn't see it, but Josh Alexander's brother Nick has been punched in the face. He's bleeding profusely. Earlier today, he was knocked over the head with a metal stick that broke. Someone stole his Canadian flag. But he's been arrested. After he got punched in the face, he got arrested. They arrested a veteran as well. I haven't seen the footage, but the person who punched him didn't get arrested. This is par for the course in Canada. This is what happens all the time.
Can I ask you a quick question, Chris? Have you heard of the Hategate scandal?
I have. I've been reading your coverage, actually. You do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I'm not up to speed on everything, but I have read quite a bit about it. Sure. So in Canada, we have an organization called antihate.ca.
Yep.
And in this Orwellian world, of course, that means hate.ca.
Right.
They are a hate group funded by the federal government. They've written 4 or 5 hit pieces on me. For the longest time, if you Googled my name, it was the #1 thing that came up.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But these are Antifa journalists.
Yep.
In their bios, if you look up all the journalists in their Twitter bios, it says right in there, they're anti-fascist.
Yeah, the executive director actually said we're proudly anti-fascist.
Yeah, Bernie Farber, I think, is his name.
That's the chair.
Oh, okay.
Evan Dalgor's the other guy.
They're all the same.
Doesn't mean they are.
So we have an Antifa journalist group, journalists, being funded by our federal government.
Yep.
They're doing the dirty work that our prime minister doesn't want to do publicly. So he funds these people to do it for him.
The hate experts.
And all of our media, they go to antihate.ca when they need some quote for their hit pieces that they're writing.
Yeah.
And part of the reason, my understanding, for Trudeau's invocation of the Emergencies Act, which used to be called the War Measures Act in Canada, it's a bill that gives the Prime Minister special powers in times of emergency. Part of his reason for invoking that act was based on lies from antihate.ca.
Yeah. And do you know the connection? I can explain the connection if you want to these protests today. Obviously, there's you getting smeared, but there was a CP24. There was a CP24 sort of like crawl at the bottom that said anti-hate experts saying that these protesters are officially biphobic or homophobic. So the media always goes back to the hate experts to justify the smearing and the vilification and the mischaracterization of anybody who stands up for this. Pretty well across the board. If there's any movement, if there's any opinion that is kind of happening, they'll go back to anti-hate every time to be the sort of moral authority on who is bad in society. So the two connections are just that, the news saying, hey, we got our information from anti-hate, proving that these people are officially homophobic, according to the hate experts. And then also, if you saw the leaked Zoom call from the COOP workers, which was like an hour long, they mentioned, I read on anti-hate. It's mentioned multiple times. So even these kind of radical union workers who claim to be anti-fascist as well, it all comes back to anti-hate as kind of their moral authority to kind of underline everything they hear in the media. And I think it really emboldens them to punch us, I guess, it's crazy how it manifests. I don't know. It's just such lies.
I wish I was making this stuff up. Yeah. Every day when I think about what I do, it's still surreal to me. I still can't believe we have to have conversations about childhood sex changes. I still can't believe we have
What is a woman? Yeah.
we have organizations like Anti-Hate.ca. We have these fascists who are masked and hooded, who have the support of all the authorities in our society. We have people committing violence without consequence. I was assaulted in front of 36 police officers in Vancouver on March 31st, and the investigating officer who was responding to a previous assault I'd incurred, and all of this is on camera. As I was getting assaulted, she was smiling throughout the whole thing. And in front of 36 police officers, as I was throat punched in the head, they did nothing.
And
it's
then,
incredible.
And then you have anti-hate swooping in to lie with impunity about us, and to kind of just like finish the job, and just encourage the mainstream media to push the narrative that we are the bad guys permanently, right? So
it's a wild world. It is Orwellian, 100%. So we have to speak up, because if we don't, we know the Conservative Party isn't going to say anything. It's truly up to normal people to fix Canada. We have to stop relying on some savior of a prime minister to fix anything. We have to get grassroots organizations built, and we have to start getting effective on the streets and at that grassroots level, because that's the only way we're going to fix this country.
And I was going to just ask that, kind of like specific solutions for people getting active at the grassroots level. Anything else that people can make a difference, emailing people or what?
So friends of mine down in the States, there's an organization called Moms for Liberty. They have about 130,000 members. It's not just moms, it's dads, uncles, grandparents. They're coming to Canada. They're amazing. These are my best friends in this fight. They're so effective, they're so smart. So
they got the mama bear energy.
They got that mama bear energy, and there's no energy to protect kids than that of a mama bear.
Yeah.
And the worst thing these gender ideologues ever did was come for our kids, because we are going to rout their terrible ideology that is harming our kids. It's going to take time, but we're going to get it done. But Moms for Liberty is going to come to Canada. So immediately, we're going to get a whole bunch of chapters opened up across the nation. We have to start flipping school boards, because almost every school board is run by leftists. The left is way more effective when it comes to the ground game. So I'm also working with an organization called the Leadership Institute. I'm working directly with their school board training program. So I'm going to get involved in Canada on getting these grassroots organizations going, training people how to run for school board. We'll get funding, because you need funding to win these races. And one conversation at a time, as always, we're going to fix this. But that truly is how we fix this. One person at a time has to be made aware of what's happening. They're not all going to do something about it. But when you talk to 100 people, a few of those people are going to get active in fighting it. And other people are going to start wearing their hats. The lawyers, the doctors are going to start speaking up. And eventually this whole thing comes crashing down, because we have truth on our side.
And you're a beautiful example of how one person being consistent can just make a huge difference. So thank you for that. Thanks for your time.
Very much. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
And I have a simple question. Like, if you go to the, okay, you're talking about
That's Billboard Chris. Amazing. How's it going? I'm just live on YouTube right now. How are you?
Good, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Can you plug me in? I only have 15% left.
I only got 17. I think we're going to wrap this up soon, though. I think we pretty well interviewed everybody. How's chat doing? I hope the quality's better than yesterday, guys. Let's do one last look at the front lines here. Hi, I'm live on YouTube. Did you want to chat?
Oh, that's okay. I've been interviewed several times already.
Okay, cheers. Hey, I'm live. Did you want to say some stuff? No, you're good. I'm probably going to wrap it up in a second. So, very symbolic. The police defending the sterilization of children. It's quite disturbing to see. You know, it's funny, they say they're part of the resistance and stuff.
Bullshit. Total bullshit.
Tell them.
Dealing with it because hormone blockers give girls osteoporosis. You know what osteoporosis is, kids? They teach you that. Oh, it's for osteoporosis. When you give girls testosterone, your bones rot. Your uterus will rot. No hormone blockers. Keep your gender ideology out of our schools and we should be fine.
you want to chat real quick? I'm live.
I'd love to chat with you.
Okay. Did you see what happened?
Nick?
Yeah, he's bleeding everywhere.
Yeah. So, well, he was just kind of in that snug area behind the line there, so by the apple tree, eating apples. And then, and then the flags dropped down, from their protective barrier, and then someone schmucked him. So I'm not sure if it was a fist or an object, but they got him good. It's like a good 1 inch above his eye gash. He'll need stitches.
Yeah, and I mean, there's this whole sentiment of like, not all the cops are bad, but it's like when they stand by and watch something like this, it must eat you guys up inside,
Well, I got to say they moved fast in that instance, but it did come out of nowhere because they have those blind lines, right? We can't see what they're doing, and then drop the flag, and then punch them in the face, and then right, exactly, or a fire extinguisher, or an air horn.
What upsets me is if one of the rainbow people were bleeding, it would be on CBC News already.
Oh yeah.
And we're not going to hear about this guy getting violently attacked and bleeding on the news
and it looks like they're going to be keeping him overnight. He's down at the cop station, and he'll be there till tomorrow with Wild Bill, a veteran, right? And what I have heard is Bill cannot feel his hands at the present moment because his handcuffs are on too tight.
So in Canada, you get arrested for getting punched by a tranny. That's essentially, maybe that's a little bit of a summary, but did you manage to have a conversation with anybody over there, any police?
No, I mean, they're taking the Canadian Anti-Hate Network playbook seriously, and they don't talk to us patriot fascists, right? That's the name of the game.
Right. Where's Pierre Poilievre?
I thought you had him. Where is he?
Yeah, he's in my pocket.
Yeah, man, I thought you had him.
Yeah.
Where's Melissa Lanceman? She should be here right now. Where are the Petersons?
Yeah.
Where's Tammy and Jordan? They should be here.
Get down here. At least Elon Musk retweeted it.
I know.
But thanks for your time. Anything else you wanted to share?
No, they Greg Wycliffe is the best, and you're number one, and you're number fan. You're amazing. When you're not live, there's a comedian coming through town who I want to talk to you about.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in a sec so we can chat. Yeah. Hi, how's it going? I think we've chatted before.
We probably have.
I'm live on YouTube. Is that okay?
Judy.
I'm here with Judy.
Hi there. Good. Judy Stinson. Nice to meet you.
And I mean, a lot happened today. It's not the first protest like this, but it's the most recent one. And we see someone on our side bleeding, and they get dragged off on a cop car. How did you feel?
Our side. I mean, I'm here as a mom. My kids are now adults, but I have 3 children, the youngest of which is 18, and that's why I'm here. I mean, our children are being indoctrinated. Our kids are showing up in school. I just spoke with a girlfriend last week in Saskatchewan whose little girl showed up, and 9 years old, filling out a form, basically, God knows what they're asking them. And she went home and said to her, "Mommy, we were told what our genders were today."
Wow.
Yeah, that was the 9-year-old.
9-year-old, so that's grade 5?
I'm guessing that's about right. Yeah. So, and the 13-year-old went home, and, the 13-year-old's fairly quiet, but the 13-year-old approached her. She didn't ask anything. The 13-year-old basically said, "We filled out..."
Were you guys getting blowjobs over there, or what was that about? Why were you guys over there? That guy's smirking. Sorry, I had to.
I hear they're teaching little kindergarten kids about that, right?
It's crazy.
What's fellatio and kindergarten?
Oh, and now that crew's going back for the blowjobs. I guess it's like a blowjob rotation. Sorry, is that crude? I don't know.
Talking about DJ Deborah when you say that?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there's just a bunch of.
assumed you were saying blowjob. I was just thinking.
Yeah, that guy had his fly undone. He's walking out of a sea of rainbow crowds. What am I supposed to believe?
Anyways,
I've seen it at Pride before.
Back to Saskatoon. So Saskatoon mom has 13-year-old child come home and say, "I filled out a survey today. Brand new teacher, never met her before in my life. What's your name? What's your nickname? Can we share this information? Does your mom know this is your nickname? Does your mom know this about you? Do your parents know this about you? Is this information? Do you want to keep this information secret from your parents?"
Who's doing all this?
This is a school teacher in response to the premier and the education ministry putting in place protocols for how teachers are to govern themselves in the schools. This is a teacher gone rogue, doing a workaround, and first day of school, brand new to the school, putting out questionnaires, asking kids, is it okay, do you want us to keep secrets from your parents? 13-year-old kid. There's a big problem when we're asking children if they want to be keeping secrets from their parents. That has nothing to do with LGBTQ2. Listen, I was at one of my best friend's weddings. She got remarried this summer to the love of her life, Marjorie and Kim. I have many same-sex couples in my life. We have dear friends in the U.S. who have a child that has gone through the surgeries and transitions.
Yeah, and when it comes to this this indoctrination, you're right. There are many elements to it. There's the gender stuff. There's the transitioning stuff, and then there's also the whole element of like, do you want to keep this a secret? Like, there's a whole sort of the government swooping in to be the parents, as it were. Very disturbing.
It's very disturbing. Yeah, no, it's terribly disturbing. But don't be fooled by what you think you're seeing. Because you come down here and it's not what you're seeing on television. And I think people are starting to wake up to that. Listen, as a holistic nutritionist, I want to say what we are doing to children right now does not make sense. There's no evidence to show that bottom surgeries and hormone blockers are helping anyone. In fact, there's evidence that's now starting to show that that's harming more kids than it's helping. So what we really need to do is look at the scientific evidence here. If more kids go through a transition, surgeries and all, and end up committing suicide as a result at the end of the day, you're not helping anyone.
Yeah. And this side is just so dishonest. They won't look at the negative consequences of the ideology at all. They act like it doesn't even exist. It's just delusional.
Well, that's it. I mean, look at the hormone blockers for children. Understand that those things are causing sterility. They're causing bone density issues and a whole host of other complications. No one talks about that. There is no informed consent. My dear friend Bethan Nodwell is a nurse and has seen it firsthand. So until people are willing to communicate and have civilized conversations, open debate about this, we're in a world of hurt.
Where's Pierre Poilievre? We haven't seen him.
Where are most of our politicians? I mean, I'm not gonna politically jump into that. You know, I'm not taking that political bait. I would say every single politician is a coward right now, except the ones who show up here.
That's right.
That's the bottom line.
Have you heard of the Hategate scandal?
I've heard a little bit about it. Yeah.
Right. So essentially, the common denominator is the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
Yeah.
And they were brought up in that Zoom call.
Yes, no, I saw part. I didn't listen to the entire Zoom call, but I've looked at some of the.
They weaponize, slanderous words and smears. Are you afraid of being called homophobic being here today? Because Justin Trudeau thinks you are.
I am not afraid of it. You know, like I'm taking a page from my dear friend Christine Anderson's book. I'm not allowing anybody to define. You do not define me. The people I love and know me, and they know who I am and what I stand for, and that's good enough for me.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, nice to meet you. You're awesome. Keep it up.
I do what I can. All righty, folks. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day. I'm going to see if we can get a word with Josh Alexander because we didn't get to do a one-on-one with him. So if I see Josh in the next 20, 30 seconds, then we'll have a quick chat with him. I think he's over here. Let's see if we can have a quick chat with him. Then we're going to wrap up the stream. My battery's dying. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. If you want to help support, go to gregwycliffe.com. There's donation options there. And yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
It's all good.
How's it going, sir? I'm live right now. Did you want to chat real quickly? Hi there. Is this your property? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm
Okay, I'm from Greece. I'm not
Right.
Canadian, so
Okay.
I have an accent, and I
Sure.
don't know how much people will understand.
I'm just live on YouTube. Did you want to share this with people at home?
I don't know. We'll see later if you think that it's proper. I love the children. I want the best for the children. God bless the children. They shouldn't interfere in the schools with the children. They're innocent-hearted kids, and they don't know what is right and wrong. What a 6-year-old know, or what a 15-year-old know, or a 20-year-old know. They don't know anything. They follow the crowd. And that should not be allowed in the schools, in any schools, anything of that, whether it's sex, I don't even want to mention the language, or is it about whatever the demonstration is today. This is all wrong of the teachers, of whoever planned this. It's parents should all get up and talk about it. Talk about it, write letters, send letters to the government, to the schools, to the whoever are from this source, that they speak these kind of things to the kids. All the kids are born innocent. The people make them like this. They don't know any better. Don't you think? Don't you agree?
I think what you said about kids is right. They're impressionable. They just follow the crowd. What do they know? They're kids.
Exactly. So please make it open that kids are innocent. They shouldn't interfere with the kids. They shouldn't tell them what to do. They shouldn't say, we didn't send my grandson to school today because the teacher yesterday said, if you are of those, please put a shirt on so they know you are from of those people. I don't even want to tell their name. Because Jesus said, Paul in particular said, this kind of people will not see the face of God. They are not from God. It's the evil that brought them to that.
Right.
One takes the other kid into that. My grandson said, he says, I went and saw in his high school, some kids come dressed like cats. Some people come dressed like dogs. And so he says, I went to see what it's all about. And I saw they have special washrooms for them, he says, with things like this on the doors. And I said, what did you want to do? Why did you go there? He says, out of curiosity.
Right.
See, kids are curious. They should not have those things in school. Forgive me. I
No,
thank
it's okay.
you.
Here. Can I give you a hug? Thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much. No, it's good. People really appreciated it. People said that they really appreciated what you had to say.
Just for the
What's that?
But everyone should have their hands.
What's that?
That is a prayer's robe.
A what?
Prayer's robe.
A prayer's robe.
Yes, because the kids follow. And we should pray for the kids.
That's right.
Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on the kids. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy. Have mercy on the kids. This is the most important. Every breath we take, that's what it says in the Bible. Take care. God bless you.
Amen. Amen.
Could have been that when he headlocked him. Because that was a big cut, so I'm trying to figure out what it was. So you guys saw a punch.
I'm just live streaming here. Can I hop in on this? I'm just listening. Did you see what happened?
I didn't.
You did?
Yeah, he got his hat stolen. And then when he went to go get it back, basically he was punched in the face. And then a scuffle happened. I'm not positive if it was the lip ring that cut his face or if it was the punch. But we definitely saw a punch, so I'm guessing it was that. And then after that, he was just
standing. Came out of the crowd, right?
Yeah. Well, they saw who did it. They just let him back into the crowd. So
there were no consequences.
No, not from what we know. Wow. And he was just standing on the sidewalk, face bleeding, preaching the gospel to the cops and to the crowd. And then the police demanded that he leave the spot that he was standing in. He said, no, I'm standing here, I'm preaching the gospel. And for that, he was arrested.
Did they even give any reason? Something like disobeying police or something like that?
Nothing. They just grabbed him and arrested him.
That's crazy. And have you been with Save Canada long?
I'm from Calgary, Alberta. Okay. So we're, we just know Josh.
Awesome. I really like your shirt as well here. Josh, could I ask you a question?
Sure, yeah.
So you've been doing this activism for a little while now. Maybe not that long, but it seemed like a long time, right?
Yeah.
Is this kind of an escalation? Because like we've seen Billboard Chris get assaulted before, but is this like the first time you've seen this kind of like violence and like not only is there no consequences for the violent agitator, but your brother is getting dragged off into a cop car?
I wouldn't say it's a first. Obviously, that was a pretty disturbing image. I mean, that does make me pretty mad to see my brother given the gospel with blood gushing out of his face, and he's being hauled off by the police and thrown in the paddy wagon. That does make me mad, and the fact that all those police officers turned their back on me and refused to answer my questions, that we need some accountability. And the fact that the unions are over here against the people doing all this, it's disappointing, it's ridiculous, but there's only so much we can do. I know my brother's proud of what he did. I know he's not ashamed of it in the slightest. He was giving the police officer who's arresting him the gospel as he was being marched away, so that was pretty base to watch. But I know he's been booked for the night, so I'll be going down to visit him soon, and we'll see from there.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot more young Christian people wearing Save Canada hats. It looks like you're going forth and multiplying.
Yeah, well, they tried to silence us, right? And that's not something we're going to be allowed to do. It's time that we start to make our stand. As Christians, there's a line in the sand here. The Bible warns us of lukewarm Christians, and that's not something you want to be. And I want to be bold. We're told to be the righteous are bold as lions, and that's not something the churches would like to preach much very often, but. It's the truth, and we need to be more vocal. We need to be standing up for what's right, and we need to be showing up.
Yeah, and being unapologetic, right? Have you heard of the HateGate scandal, and have you ever been featured on antihate.ca?
Oh, I've been featured there many times. I followed the HateGate very briefly. I just started seeing the hashtag showing up everywhere. I was in America for most of the summer, so I didn't even know what was going on. But I mean, it's nothing that we didn't know, right? They're corrupt. They're so corrupt. They took a joke and tried to make us look like terrorists. The anti-hate network is going out. They call me an anti-trans extremist, and now we've even got supposedly conservative media doing that. The same. Mark Slipinski's reporting on me is probably even worse than the anti-hate network. So
that guy's a slime ball.
It's just funny. I enjoy ratioing him on a daily basis.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, the anti-hate network is obviously a disgrace, but even more so the fact that media and law enforcement are using it as a resource is ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's connected to this as well, right? Because we saw the leaked Zoom call of the CUPE of the union workers mentioning anti-hate as a resource that kind of empowers them to be like this moral authority. And also even on TV, it was basically underlining what Justin Trudeau said on Wednesday. Antihate.ca, the hate experts said that these people are homophobic. It's approved. The hate experts say that they're homophobic. So it's really connected to all of this. I don't really have a question there, but I think you said it best, which is like it's not just anti-hate, it's affecting every institution, the media. But I wanted to ask about the 1 Million March for Kids, which you went to. That was in Ottawa. It was very big. And there was a lot of not just Christians, but also Muslims uniting. And there was a sentiment from Camille, one of the leaders, who kind of said, I don't like your lifestyle. Like broadly, I don't like the LGBTQ plus lifestyle. And there are a lot of Christians who believe that too. And there are some people on our side who are like, oh, we're going to get called anti-gay. We're going to get called anti-gay anyway. And what I say to them too is, when is it time to start criticizing the LGBTQ plus? You know, we're starting to basically systemically sterilize kids in school. You know, can we criticize anything about gay people? And I feel like the rainbow flag kind of represents this ideology or this religion almost of thou must not criticize LGBTQ plus people. So how big of a role do you think religion plays in this? And like, are you afraid of being called homophobic, or do you criticize the LGBT as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. As a born-again Christian, I believe that community is just, it rejoices in sin, it rejoices in what's wrong. However, at the same time, my focus isn't what people do behind closed doors, right? I think they have the right to do that. I don't care. I have a problem when our institutions and our schools are flying the banners of sodomy in front of kids and displaying it like it's normal. I don't understand why gay sexuality is esteemed so highly to students by our teachers and by our school boards.
Yeah, unchallenged and no criticisms at all towards it.
So yeah, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I do think homosexuality is wrong. I think it's a sin. However, I also think that fornication and lust and all these other problems that don't get looked at on the political end as much are also sins. So I'd be a bit of a hypocrite to go and call out one sin and ignore the sin in my own life and others. But I do think it needs to be kept away from the kids, and we need to stop advertising it and promoting it as some righteous hierarchy.
Awesome. What's next for you, for Save Canada, other than seeing your brother who's in jail right now? How do we keep this momentum going?
Well, I think we need to start showing up. My brother, he marched away giving the cop the gospel. He's not ashamed. We need more people that aren't ashamed. We need more young people. That sends a powerful message.
Are you afraid of being called homophobic?
Not at all. Not at all. It's happened too many times, and it's not a concern of mine because, one, I am not afraid. I fear God and God alone, and that's it. So no, I'm not homophobic. You can call me homophobic. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. The fact of the matter is, I love everybody. I'm told to give them the gospel, and I want them all to find the truth and the love and the story of the cross.
And for people who might be watching and maybe they're on the fence about Christ or kind of embracing more of Christianity in their worldview, what would you kind of share with them to try to encourage them to open up to Jesus?
Yeah, when you look at what's happening in our world right now, our country, there's so much division. There's so much, like any issue you can possibly think of has become a political issue, and political issues have become moral issues. So we have a moral battleground everywhere you look, and morality comes from the Maker. What's wrong with our society is we've ignored the Creator, we've turned our back on God, and then gone, oh, what happened? Where'd the morality go?
Yeah.
Well, you need a sense of morality in order to have a society with morality. And like Jesus Christ is the answer. I have the hat that's even Save Canada. And the only way to save Canada is by getting on our knees and turning to Christ and repenting of all the sin and the degeneracy in our society.
Yeah. So Christ is King.
Christ is King.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Until next time. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Christ is King. And just to add to his point there, every single political issue is really shrouded in lies. It's shrouded in such deceptive, evil behavior most of the time. And that's really why I came to Christ. It was very much a sort of like, well, this is the only thing that makes sense anymore. If you look at our problems across the board, it's always someone lying. It's always someone being evil. It's always someone participating in some type of sin. It's just the most reliable framework, I think, to look at it. You can talk about all the theology you want. You can talk about all the things wrong with Christianity you want, but I just find it's a practical thing. Practically, it is the most useful framework to look at what's happening, whether it's sin, whether it's deception and how the devil operates. If you actually read into this stuff and the kind of moral lessons and the sort of spiritual lessons, it tracks really well. Anyway, it just helps me a lot. But we're just going to wrap it up here again. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to help support the stream, go to gregwycliffe.com to send a donation. I love you. I think I missed some super chats. I apologize. But, we'll see you next time. We'll talk to you soon.
Jesus Christ. Heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Do not abandon us during temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour